There, we
Hey,
are live.
hello! Welcome to another edition of Gremcast. Today, Gremlin, the main host, will not be able to join us due to troubles with internet and real-life drama. Tonight, I will be handling his account. If no one really minds that, hopefully. This is Kota, in case if no one is really realizing.
Hi, Kota.
Hi,
Hello there.
Chris. And today, so far, for the live stream, I am joined by LadyFuzztail and
Hello.
Aalto, also known as Chris.
Yes, Aalto. So, yeah, most of them probably do not know who the hell I am at all because my Twitter is not blown up like super cool ever. But, yeah, glad to be here so I can talk about games and stuff.
Yep.
Games are fun.
So this week we will be covering a few articles on gaming news that has popped up.
Yep.
So where do we start?
Oh, by the way, for those who will be watching, this is still considered a open house, so if anyone would like to join in and discuss either the topics we are talking about or their very own, depending upon it's within reason of the subject, message Kotamaku10 on Twitter. That's Kota, Kota, Maku, Maku, and 10. Twitter.
10.
Yep. Can you count to 10? Huh, can you?
I don't know if I can. It's pretty scary. Alright. But, yeah, so where to start? This week has been weird. I mean, first of all, it's been one of the bestest weeks ever because two things I was super waiting for got released.
Yep.
Which is
Mad
good.
Max and Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah. Now, I actually got both of them because I'm stupid and spend all my money on stuff. But
I don't have
don't.
much
What
money
was I
to
saying?
spend on
As I do. I
myself.
spend way too much money on games. I mean, I know I love video games, but I spend entirely too much of my money on them. So I ended up buying both. I didn't want to spoil it for a friend of mine, so I didn't get too far in Metal Gear Solid 5. I got to a certain point where like you can kind of do a few things with Mother Base, and I was like, okay.
There's a Mother Base spoiler! Spoiler!
I've heard that Metal Gear Solid 5 is a really, really big game. About as big as one of those classic JRPGs with at least 60 hours of content.
Oh, it's got. I'm pretty sure it has more than that. It's at least 100 because someone. I remember. Who was it? Oliver Campbell, I think, tweeted that he finished it, but he said I just wanted to see the story the first time through. Now I'm going to go back and do all the content, and he beat it in about 3 days. And he said he played it like solid about 45 hours story stuff and necessary things, and he said it was only at 37% completion.
Didn't he do an Extra Life charity stream where he did MGS5 for 35 hours straight?
Oh, he loves that game. It's hilarious. But no. So he did beat it. Technically, he completed the main stuff, the necessary things, and was only 37% completion, which is amazing because he spent like 35 to 40 hours playing it. So when you think about that,
that's also a good sign. Because
when you think about that, it's going to be massive.
Yeah, because that also brings back the whole idea of the video games like main content being a small part, while the big bulk of the content is where explorers can enjoy. I mean, I really miss that aspect of gaming.
I really do too. Yeah.
I mean, when did developers start getting so afraid of players missing content that they have to shove every fucking thing into the main missions?
Yeah, I feel like it's much more fun to have like distractions, which brings me also to Mad Max, which I'm sorry to like pimp this so much, but seriously, don't believe any of the reviews you've read. Mad Max is freaking amazing. It's so good. It's such a good sandbox. Like, it's very open world. You forget what you're doing and start just doing random stuff on the map, and it's really fun.
Okay. How would you say the game would compare to, let's say, the first Borderlands or Rage?
Much better than Rage, like worlds above Rage. I will say that right now. And I did like
Mm,
Rage. I did like Rage. But this, for me, the cars, the customization with your car is outrageous. And also the customization with your character is pretty cool. There's not a lot of weapons, mind you. But the way that every little piece of your car can be upgraded, and every little upgrade or change changes the way you play drastically.
Now that is a good sign.
Yeah. And here was the sad thing: is this game got super panned for no discernible reason, and it's amazing. It's so big. Let me explain to you how big this game feels. Sometimes in Metal Gear Solid 5, I feel like I can walk around a little bit without D-Horse, but like in this game, if I'm without my car, I'm fucked. I can't go anywhere. I have no ability to get from point A to point B because the map is so huge.
hmm.
Like even a small part of the map.
Maybe for that main reason why a lot of people went trying just bashing the game is simply because it's a
big.
tie into a movie.
And here's the funny thing: it's not. They clearly didn't. They clearly did not watch Fury Road and then play this because this has nothing to do with Fury Road. This has nothing to do with. In fact, it's more based in the old Mad Max universe, which are basically the same thing. But it's just another random story in the life of Mad Max. Just like all the other Mad Max movies, they're pretty much standalone, right? Like,
Yep.
basically, it's just Max is the portal, the vessel that you kind of enter the world through, and then it follows a whole bunch of other shit going on around him. He's not even really the main character in a lot of the movies. He just is kind of a guy who got into the situation, and he's like us, looking at it. And anyway, it's basically like another adventure of his. It has nothing to do with the movie or any other movie in the Mad Max franchise. It's just another adventure for Max. And it's kind of sad that people are like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, it's a tie-in." Blah blah. I'm like, no, it's not.
Personally, I think that's the way to do a movie, a series, or franchise, adaptations to another medium, is to take the concept from the franchise that you love so much in one medium, and then translate it to concepts that work in another medium.
Without having the exact story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what is the point of having the exact same story if you get the same
Agreed.
in one medium?
Agreed.
Like, a movie will never be as good as a video game as a story or a franchise designed from the ground up to be a video game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it really is just kind of silly that people are just straight up. Why'd you? Oh wait, am I too loud?
No.
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
I just noticed your volume wasn't as high.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, but yeah, it's really unfortunate. It just really is that people are panning this game, and it's also kind of it made me worried when I saw they were releasing it the same week as MGS5 because MGS5 has so much hype behind it. It's a great game, but it's obviously going to blow anything else that releases the same week out of the water in sales. Especially
I
if people
agree.
are only buying one game that week, they're not going to buy both. Then it's super going to blow it out of the water in sales because it's MGS. It's going to do it.
But I
But
guess that's why Mad Max got panned, because it is not MGS.
I feel like there's
Yeah.
another part of it too. Is it was released the same week, and it probably felt like it paled in the hype train and the beauty of everyone just
oh my
freaking
God,
out.
The hype machine. Yeah, the hype
The hype
machine,
machine was
for
insane
is
for
unbelievable.
PS5.
Yes.
Of course, the hype machine was insane because it's Metal Gear Solid.
Now, see,
Gear
I
Solid always
was
has an
also
insane hype machine.
I was also really hyped for I got hyped for Mad Max not when I saw it announced, but when I heard who was making it. You guys know who made it, right? It's the same team that did Just Cause 2.
Huh, that's
Oh,
cool.
nice.
Yeah, so I got super hyped. I'm like, oh, I love those guys. They do a good game.
Yeah, Just
And-
Cause 2 is really awesome.
Yeah, it is. It was a good game. I can't wait for Just Cause 3, by the way. But yeah, Mad Max, the new one, is the game is made by the same people that made Just Cause 2. So that's when I got hype.
Hmm. Well, that is a good sign.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was so astonished to see the reviews on it. I mean, I don't really trust reviews that much at this point. Anyway, and I haven't for a long time.
Do.
Yeah, I'm like, I have a few friends who I trust their opinion on games. A couple of very good friends, and we've been together forever, and we talk about games. And I do trust their opinion on games, and that's how I, like, if I'm not sure about a game from what I'm seeing or hearing, I'll ask them, because we have very similar taste. But, like, with reviews, it's just such a shot in the dark, because I'm like, what if this person doesn't even like the same kind of games I do? What if they aren't completely into this genre? Then they're going to probably hate it, and review it badly, and I'm going to not, and then no one's going to want to buy it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, right, no reviewers are ever going to be completely objective. There's always going to be an element of subjectiveness when it comes to reviews, no matter how objective the writer tries to be. Like in Steam reviews, right, usually whenever it is recommended or not recommended, it depends on what issues the game has and whether or not the player can deal with them or not.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Like
and
Batman reviews, for example, with the piss poor optimization for PC.
Oh my god. Why do so many publishers and developers do lazy PC ports these days?
They just can't. They just can't. They just don't seem to know how to anymore. I mean, a prime example of that is the Batman one. That was a disaster. Remember that?
Well, that's the one I just referenced.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you right. But yeah, it was, they took it down after like a week because they're like, yeah, you guys need to. And Steam was like, yeah, you guys need to fix this, and then we'll release it. This is bad.
Yeah. Well, at least WB Games took the game down. There's no such concessions when it comes to Ubisoft and that Assassin's Creed game.
Which one?
I think the latest one was Unity, right?
Unity? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Unity had problems even on some consoles. I mean, not to mention, okay. There were like some boxes where it was like purchasable and you could get extra stuff in like Black Flag. In Unity, they said, screw that, we're making like a fifth of the box in the game you have to buy a certain DLC to unlock these boxes.
And let me guess, quite a few of them involve the main progression bit as well, right?
Kind of, but most of it was like really, really good stuff, like out of the boxes. Like I think one of them was like a piece of equipment, and I'm like, why would you not just make that in the game? Or if you didn't want to release it yet right away, like make it a DLC later on. Don't day one us and be like, hey, if you pay $10, you can unlock all the chests in the game. If not, a fifth of the chests in the game you can't really open those. It's cool, man.
Well, speaking of day one and pre-orders, have you taken a look at the pre-order campaign of the latest Deus Ex game?
It is pretty much, would you like this content or would you like this content?
Yes.
See, I kind of like the vote for whatever bonus stuff you want thing, because that would be kind of cool, honestly, to see what the outcome of that is. You know what? People will trash Deus Ex Human Revolution for days. I don't know why they do it. Actually, I do know why they do it.
Yeah, but here's what I think should have been done is that
the original.
Here's what I think what should have been done. Like if you have choice A and choice B, and player votes for choice A, right, and that choice wins, right? Choice B should be like up for grabs in the next upper tier. So that all the content, right, will eventually be all the extra content will eventually be up for grabs when it comes to pre-orders. It really doesn't make any sense to make like 2 pre-order bonuses and only include one of them.
Well,
and that is
not even voting. It's you personally pick which one you want.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's really ridiculous.
Yeah. If you pick this, you're not going to get the others.
Yeah.
That seems silly. I mean, they should just give you all of it, is my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, like, if they've already made it,
I didn't know it was you pick what you want.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, like, if they've already made it, right? Why the fuck not include it?
Yeah, just give it to. I mean, It's. You know what else? I gotta bring this up though about all the announcements and everything of games that are coming out. Seems pretty cool. I actually have a Wii U. I know I'm a rare breed in that regard to some degree, because a lot of
Not
people do
really.
not. Well, I know, but like I had one pre-Smash. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I had a Wii U forever. Like before there were any like hyped up games for anything. I gotta say the reaction, and I didn't like the way it looked either. To be quite honest with you, of it was what was it? Metroid Federation.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the massive reaction to that for just a second.
well, actually, we're kind of going a little bit off.
I know. I'm sorry. We're going with a long intro. I apologize. I just wanted to comment. I feel like if you don't if you don't like something, that's fine. You can dislike it, whatever. But the petition to get it like canceled is so silly. That is my
Yes, it
comment.
was very, very silly.
Yes.
So, anyway, Fuzztail, how have you been since Chris has finally finished talking about his experiences?
I am very sorry.
Hey, you're
Well,
fine.
I'm more of a gamer that plays old games and playing catch up forever with stuff. So this week, I have been playing a lot of the Borderlands 1 DLC and having mixed feelings about it.
Like, what kind of mixed feelings are you talking about?
I'd like to talk about how the extensive content of the General Knox Secret Armory DLC, which is interesting in its own right, and provides a lot of new content.
If you go to one spot, you can actually exploit it and avoid all the mobs and get all the best gear.
Oh, you're talking about the Cromer-Axis lair?
Oh,
yeah, that is the DLC where you can eventually enter Cromer-Axis lair, but you'll have to be like level 61 in order to be able to survive it, usually. But yeah, the biggest issue with the General Knox Secret Armory is that there's way too much driving. Like, here's the structure. Here's how the DLC is structured.
I don't really like driving in Borderlands, to tell you the truth.
Huh?
I don't really like driving in Borderlands, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, because the driving mechanics in Borderlands 1 can be pretty bullshit at times. Like if your car reaches like 0 HP, right, you're automatically put to fight for your life mode. And in Borderlands 1, right, fight for your life is a lot more punishing because you can't even move, and you have far less time to get a kill, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I mean, like, I think Borderlands 1 in general was more punishing than Borderlands 2.
But it is actually kind of a non-issue. It is nothing more than just an annoyance because money at that point, right, becomes meaningless.
Yeah, because I mean, you're not gonna buy a lot of weapons. You're probably gonna use a lot of the special ones that you find and stuff.
Yeah.
And then,
Speaking of which, right, did you know that in that DLC alone, right, I encountered like 10 legendary and like orange, yellow, orange loot, at least 10 of them. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, I keep getting these weapons, but you know what's funny is that I haven't found a good repeater pistol yet.
Huh.
But yeah, I didn't.
There's that boast about the over thousands upon thousands of different gun variations, all just slight variation between one and the other, which is like, oh, this one has one more point than that one variation.
Well, to be fair, right, that is a lot more true in Borderlands 2 than in Borderlands 1, because Borderlands 1, right, you can find a gun that is so good that it can last you for a very long time. And there are plenty of guns that are purple in quality that can outperform a lot of pearlescent weapons.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess I never got too in depth into Borderlands like a lot of people did. I mean, I liked the first one, but after that, like, I played the second one. I did not play the
second game is insufferable. Like, it fixed a lot of the issues that the first game had when it comes to mechanics and gameplay, but it introduced a whole slew of other issues with gameplay, how it scales in multiplayer, and of course the story. Oh my god, the fucking story is terrible.
Well, of course, because it's just post-apocalyptic kind of
Yeah.
futuristic, and then
Yeah, Borderlands 1 is supposed to be basically like Halo, but set in a Mad Max like sort of universe, and with a
of
little bit of
color.
sci-fi thrown in.
Yeah, well, Halo is sci-fi,
Yeah,
and
but
technically you could also say Mad Max is sci-fi because it takes place in the future, even though it is post-apocalyptic.
mhm.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I mean, I heard that the pre-sequel was worse than
Oh my
2
god,
was.
yes, it is. The pre-sequel is the writing is so abysmal that a friend of mine who writes for Highland Arrow, like, nearly wanted to like I don't know. She's very exhausted by the time the game ended, and it was extremely painful for them.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I understand that. I understand reading writing that is so terrible that you're like,
Mm.
oh my god. And if you know how to write, it's even worse because then it's like, why is this here?
Yeah. Basically, what happened in Borderlands the pre-sequel, and this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler, is that the main antagonist, right, that you are pretty much fighting against the whole game, dies in the middle of the game due to
Dies
Handsome
in
Jack being an asshole. And so for the second half of the game, you're just pretty much pittering around, just trying to get to the vault for no other reason than to satisfy Jack's curiosity. There's no pressing reason to do so, just because Jack got his ego bruised by the original Vault Hunters, and he wanted to make pretty much reach the vault to prove a point to them and gain the treasure for himself. That's all it is.
it was a giant tentacle monster at the end, right? Was it another giant tentacle monster?
No, it's more of an alien thing.
Aliens have tentacles.
Yeah, it's an alien thing with an elemental roulette mechanic.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the only reason why I beat it is because I encountered like this really weird bug where I died and then I respawned and my shield is constantly recharging, like no matter what. Yeah,
How weird.
and the
Interesting.
only reason and the reason I actually died is because there's like so many like of those alien queen that spawns enemies that pretty much heal other alien enemies, and there are some alien enemies that are just HP tanks to the core.
I still have never touched the pre-sequel, and I haven't finished Borderlands 2 simply because. Okay, I was playing it with friends, and my friends has wandered off and decided we're more interested in Diablo 3 than finishing this. And they was like, no,
Well,
no, you can't play it without us. We want to finish it together. We gotta finish it together, man.
but the
Oh,
thing
I
is,
hate when people do that so much. Like, they come finish it. No,
Yeah, and
I hate that. I'm like, why won't you finish this game?
and you know the biggest problem with Borderlands starting from Borderlands 2 is that the HP scaling is ridiculous when it comes to multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
No, I will admit I am guilty of being a game not finisher a lot of the time. Like sometimes I won't finish a game for like months because I'll get distracted by another game.
You
I
should take
start
a look at
playing
my
that.
Steam backlog.
Oh, my backlog on everything is pretty abysmal. Like
Well,
it
my
would make
Steam
most people very angry to look at it.
well my Steam library is like almost 600 large, and I've barely like scratched like
Okay,
the
you beat me.
surface.
Yeah,
My
my Steam
phone,
library is like 650 or 700 large, and it's just like, yeah, I've barely beaten any of this.
All the video
you
games.
guys and your elitist Steam libraries of largeness.
Or giant
Mine's,
Steam libraries.
mine's only 400.
Oh, it's like a little baby.
Speaking of elitism, right? There is a study that suggests that sexual harassment in online gaming is caused by lack of skill, and this has come from an article in Techraptor by Georgina Young. Recently, on August 31st, 2015.
Hmm.
Hey, Chris, do you have the article?
Yeah, I do actually have it pulled up right now.
Yeah. Okay. Want to be sure that you have the list and such.
Yeah.
I've been reading it. I hadn't read it before today actually, but
Yeah.
it. I don't understand 100% of like how the study was done.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. Like the thing about studies of this nature is that it is highly subjective, and there's way too much variables to control. So
Especially when
this
it
is
comes to online interactions in games.
yep.
You
So
need
this
to be.
article is something that should be taken with a very big grain of salt.
A
Yeah,
lot of
I
times,
feel like this article is very, very weird.
Hmm.
there's also the possibility of, while they was doing these games that they was testing in Halo 3, yeah, Halo 3 of all games, that they literally said in their game lobby, sexual harassment test. That might be bait entirely for
Yeah.
trolls, just right there.
Yep, and that
Yeah,
alone will
I feel
color
like
the study.
trolls are gonna do that. Like, is
Hmm.
that all they did? Is they went in and said sexual harassment test though?
You don't know because they never say. They never say
Because if
exactly
that's what they
how
did,
they did it.
if it was something like that, then that's pretty stupid to assume everyone's gonna be 100% honest and serious. Like, come on.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the summary of the article is that people who like male players who allegedly harass female players are the less skilled players that who are forced to be submissive to more skilled male players. So basically, if you sexually harass a woman in a video game, in an online video game, then you're pretty much a beta male.
What the fuck?
It's really really weird. It's really hard to believe though.
I don't
Uh,
think it's true. Probably it doesn't seem
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And
yeah,
speaking from my personal experience, right? People can be assholes to other people for a wide variety of reasons. Like,
Yeah.
I've been a part of a female-dominated Counter-Strike Source community that focuses on a
female
co-op
dominated
zombie mode.
Counter-Strike.
Yep.
What madness are you talking about? I thought
And a
females
lot
don't
of the
actually play video games,
yeah, and
let
a lot
alone
of
be
the
on the internet.
like the sexually charged insults that were thrown around in that community, right? Is pretty much like due to the fact that some people don't like the idea of having a female in charge. But here's the interesting thing is that those people who make those insults, right, don't really last that long in the community. They're pretty much ousted as soon as they utter those things.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want about people who play FPSs, but most of them are not a bunch of assholes. Like, I mean, yeah, we will shit talk, but if I shit talk you in a first person shooter, it's not because no one fuck.
Sorry, Chris. I think your mic messed up.
I don't know
Yeah.
whose mic that was. That wasn't mine. I heard it. I think it's
Koda?
Koda's. Koda, are you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah,
Your
I'm
mic's
hearing
going
lots of
weird.
beeps and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, it seems to have died
oh,
down.
it fixed itself. Fixed itself. We're okay.
So what
Sorry,
were you
I
saying
was
again,
checking
Chris?
my phone.
Alright, that's okay. So I was saying, basically, if I insult you in a first-person shooter, if I trash talk, let's just say you did something lame, and I'm trash talking you after I beat the crap out of you.
I just
Um,
team killed you. There.
yeah, yeah, you just team killed me, and I got you back. I'm trash talking you, or you're like you get switched to the other team or something. And I just beat the crap out of you.
And
It's
to take
not because you're a
my
girl or a man or whatever. It's because I'm playing a game and trash talking and being competitive. Being competitive has nothing to do with male or female or anything else other than just general human nature of being competitive while doing a competitive thing.
And
First
yeah,
person
it is.
shooters are
dominance. There.
yeah.
Well, it is an underhanded but fair tactic to be honest, because the utility of trash talk is to goad the other player into being angry enough so that they make more mistakes.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, it has again. Point being, it has absolutely nothing
Yeah.
to do with one person's gender or or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. It's just a tactic, and it's just the way people are in FPS games.
Yeah.
If you're
And in
playing,
my case, right, when I'm playing, I play a lot of co-op games, right? And for example, in Killing Floor, right, when I trash talk people or when I call them idiots and morons, right, it is because they did something incredibly stupid to jeopardize the whole team.
yeah, it's not like you're like, I'm calling you a moron because you are a man. It's like, I am
Yeah.
calling you a moron because you are a moron.
Yeah. I'm calling you a moron because you started shooting that Scrake with a PC submachine gun and nearly got us all killed.
Yeah, it's like it has absolutely nothing to do with
Fuzztail?
sex.
Yes, Coda?
Yes, Coda?
I said, so what, you're not just gonna go and fight the patriarchy? By just being mean to all men?
No, I don't fight the patriarchy. I win it.
Damn. What's this? But yeah, it's I feel like it's kind of silly to assume that trash talking in any game, let alone FPSs, has anything to do with anything but the game itself
Yep.
and what's going on in the game at the time.
Yep.
I mean, to be honest, right? Yeah. While there is another, while there is like another end of the spectrum, where trash talking can be a real issue, like in extreme competitive games like League of Legends and other stuff, right? It's not that big of an issue when it comes to other games. Like League of Legends is a beast of its own, where there's lots of people getting really angry because these games, right,
It's
take
extremely competitive.
yeah, extremely competitive and can take an entire hour to conclude, right? So if someone on your team is pretty much feeding the enemy team, right, you are jeopardizing the entire team. Like you're pretty much giving the victory to the other team,
Yep.
and that is going to piss off at least 4 to 5 people. And because if you're in a team with 5 people, right, chances are if you do a random match, you're going to encounter someone who is very, very new to the game and have no idea what the fuck they're doing. So you could be spending like 1 hour being absolutely miserable, being rolled over by the enemy team because one guy keeps feeding the enemy team kills. And that
Yeah,
is how you
it,
get
it,
people really, really
exactly.
angry.
How do
it-
I use an ultimate ability?
Oh my god. But yeah, like, it's funny because like even in that scenario you just listed, nothing to do with sex. It's everything to do with players with in general, what's going
Yeah.
on in the game and how well they're doing.
Yeah. In other words, it's if you're being trash talked to in a game, right? The best way to stop that is to get good.
Yep. Or you know what, here's another piece of advice. If you're gonna play a competitive online game, don't have thin skin because you will get trash talked to worse. It's
Hmm.
competitive. It's the nature of being competitive to talk mad shit on other people who are in the same competition you are.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, onto another topic.
Yes.
Apparently, there's gonna be a Shovel Knight amiibo.
I saw
Oh,
that.
I've
That
heard
looks kind
about
of
that.
snazzy.
Hmm. I really am interested in picking it up, even though I don't own a 3DS or a Wii U, just for the fact that it is a sculpture of the Shovel Knight.
Yeah, it actually looks really nice compared to some of the other amiibos I've seen. Because I was lucky. See, when everyone was getting the messed up amiibos, I got one that looked really, really good. Which was made all my friends mad at me. They were like, "Oh my god, how did
I
this
bet they
even
look bad.
happen?"
Speaking of which, right? Yeah, it's really nice, and I've been kind of thinking, right, with the whole thing about Steam cards and items in
Yep.
various video games tied to Steam inventory, right? I'm wondering how viable it is to have the idea of Steam amiibos of various Steam games.
Well, see, the problem with that is you would need a certain hardware for your computer, unless they used a what you call it, one of those little scanny thingies.
Oh, I think that would be pretty easy to implement. Just
Yeah, I
have
feel
a
like if it was something
Bluetooth.
like that, it'd be.
Mm.
I know I sound dumb by saying scanny thingy. Please tell me what it is, so I don't look like an idiot.
Oh, you mean
Now,
like a QR, like a QR code scanner?
Yeah, like if it was something like that, it'd be really easy to do.
Yeah.
As long as it was nothing like an actual amiibo, where you have to like, you know,
I have an even simpler solution. It's basically you can just have the amiibo send out a Bluetooth signal and have a Bluetooth, like any Bluetooth receiver can take that signal, interpret it as a Steam kind of application message, and then Steam can handle it from there.
Hmm. Well, of course, then there has to be the who is going to produce all of these. Well,
Valve
then
can.
there's
I mean, they're practically
contract
printing money
talks.
by now.
And then there's contract talks between each different company. Like, is it only going to be selective, high profit Steam ones? Is it going to be also low tier Steam games?
Yeah, the thing with Steam amiibos is Steam is such a different beast from like Nintendo. It's got games from freaking everybody. It's got good games, bad games, cheap mobile games, really amazing games, AAA games, indie games. I mean, it'd be so hard to decide. So who's gonna get to do this? You know?
How much is the company going to take?
Yeah. How much are they gonna have to pay us to do this? It's so much. It would
How
be
much
cool though. I'm
Steam
not saying it wouldn't be cool. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome, and if there's any company that can pull it off, it will be Valve, because Valve is practically printing money by now, despite not really making a decent game in years.
Yeah, well, yeah. They haven't made like any game in years.
So that's
Have
the
they
reason why
made a
they
game
haven't
since
made
Left 4 Dead 2?
decent game
Like,
in years because they haven't made any.
like Portal
Well,
2 and
I
Left 4
guess you
Dead
could.
2 were the last two games they made, and it was just like, when was Portal 2 made? That was like 4 years ago.
What about Dota 2? But I wouldn't count Dota 2 as a decent game since it's a very, very your mileage may vary kind of game.
Yeah. Well, on to a next topic, actually involving Steam, because I'm just gonna skip the next one. Involving Steam, they are going to be releasing a new porn game related thing. And as we know usually when it comes to the adult games on Steam, such as Honey Pop, they tend to be more censored, but this one is actually not going to be.
Are you
Called
serial? It's not gonna be censored like at all?
at all. It's
It's
going to
awesome.
be the game is called Kindred Spirits Roof, and it's going to be completely uncensored, and also it's Yuri.
Wow.
Interesting. So, since when did Steam allow this kind of stuff on their platform? I mean, I thought that the reason why they censor the games is because Steam has a policy against
Yes,
releasing those games
they
uncensored.
have policy mainly because they just don't handle adult games.
Mm.
And however, recently they've been popping up more and more on Steam, beforehand uncensored, and
Mm.
now this is the first one that'll be uncensored.
Yep. I mean, it sounds like it's gonna be cool, and it is promising if these kind of games start to appear on Steam. Because I mean, let's be real here. Games are not just for kids anymore.
Yep.
It hasn't been for a very long time. Most of the games that come out these days are not rated E for everyone. Let's just say that.
But here's an issue, though, I can see is that how can you conclusively prove that the person who's buying the game or having access to the game is an adult that is legally allowed to access such content?
Well, first of all, you have to have your age in there, and then second, you have to put in a credit card. After that, Steam can kind of wash their hands of it.
Mm.
Or they could
Well,
just,
I don't think so. I think credit card is optional, but I think guess the PayPal info can.
Well, PayPal info, you have to do either PayPal info or credit card,
Yeah.
and
could
you have to
probably
have a
go one
name
step
attached to your
further.
account for billing information.
They could probably just go one step further and have you have for these types of games, maybe they might go and have you required to put in your social security number or something.
I don't know. That seems a bit extreme.
That does seem a little bit extreme because I don't think anyone would do it, and the game's not sell very well, so I don't think they would do that. They want to make money. Like, let's face it, guys. They
But
want
here's
to
the
make
scenario
money.
I imagine is that let's just say that a underage kid is granted a credit card that their parents let them use for occasion to buy stuff on Steam like once or twice. Let's just say that they come across this game, gets all hormonally charged, seeing the pretty ladies on screen, and they hit the buy button. And Steam is going to think that it's their parents who bought the game, not them.
Right, but at that point, I don't think that Steam has any. I mean, if you lie, it's not on Steam's head; it's on your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, there's going to be a lot of pissed off parents that are going to complain about this.
Q's in here.
Hey there, Q.
Hey, Q. Glad to see you was able to join us now.
Welcome,
Hello.
Q. We're talking about not sure you've been listening. We're talking about the whole new Yuri Eroge, whatever game being released on Steam, and how they can probably go about Uncensored, and how they can go about making this so they won't get in trouble for releasing something like that uncensored. Like, how could they sell it? How could they market it?
Here's another question that is worth raising: is that will the games that have been released on Steam censored allowed to be patched out
that becomes
to be uncensored retroactively now that this policy is in place?
It's true.
Or this precedent?
Probably. They might. I mean, of course, they still allow a lot of games to be patched ages and ages later, and maybe with the
Another option might be making an adults-only section of the Steam store. 18, you have to be 18 to go in the section of the Steam store. Sorry if you're not 18, if you don't have your account information like linked, and it says like, yeah, I'm 18, you can't go over there.
Imagine if a
part of the
remake of
problem-
Beat 'em and Eat 'em gets put on
Boy,
Steam.
Q didn't get it.
I think one part of the problem is that Steam has PayPal as one of its payment methods.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna have to make it so that if they sell certain products, you're not allowed to use PayPal to pay for them.
That's true, because PayPal doesn't allow you to pay for that kind, which is stupid. It's like so Puritan.
Yep.
I don't understand the whole PayPal. You can't look at tits thing. It's so weird. It just weirds me out that PayPal is like that.
only reason because they don't want to risk their stocks with their stockholders and them being angry or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. Since a lot of the industry's money movers are tied to porn.
Yeah. I mean, see, I feel like having that unhealthy of a view of sex is pretty ridiculous anyway. I mean, sex is a perfectly natural thing that you're going to figure out about eventually. It's a video game. It's not like you're looking at actual fucking tits. I just don't know. I just don't know.
And people can go on ranting all day and night about how most of the aero gays that are available for sale on the market are terrible. But this is more of an argument of morality and responsibility of distribution. We're not talking about the quality of the products, because you know what? Steam already lost that argument because they're already allowing absolute crap on Steam.
Yeah, like, do you know how many
not working properly.
Yeah. So why is it any different when a porn game comes on Steam and it happens to be crappy?
Yeah, it's not a matter of being good. It's just a matter of it's fine, silly.
Yeah, if a Steam game like a porn game is crappy, then let's just let the market decide if that game deserves to be successful or not.
It either sinks or swims.
Yep.
Well, since that was a short-lived topic, next one. Uncharted 4 release date and special editions announced.
I
did not see that.
Yeah,
is it anywhere as bad as the stuff that Ubisoft does with their new releases?
Well, I mean, I'm a little bit biased because I enjoy Sony's little capital of developers they have very much. Particularly Naughty Dog. I really, really like Naughty Dog.
By the way, the release date is March 18th of 2016.
Okay. I mean, it looks
Oh
cool, to
my
be quite
god.
honest with
Okay.
you guys. Now I'm looking at it. The special edition. The collector's edition looks really neat. I mean, a 12-inch statue, that's pretty big. And Gentle Giant's
Alright,
pretty okay
here's a
company.
potential issue that I would like to raise, and it is tied to the pre-order culture. If you take a look at near the bottom section of the article, right, you'll see that if you do decide to pre-order Uncharted 4, you will receive a bonus pack that includes a lot of stuff, right? Uncharted Drake's Fortune outfit, Golden Weapon customization, a pack of Naughty Dog points. But there's also pre-order bonuses for specific retailers. So for GameStop, you will receive a multiplayer booster pack, which includes a variety of one-time use multiplayer boosts and Furba's Dagger Taunt. So basically pay-to-win stuff that you get for free if you pre-order at GameStop. And then for Amazon, you will receive a Snow Camo weapon customization and a Desert Drake outfit. It's kind of not too bad since it's just like skins and
Yeah, well,
customization.
And then you have the PlayStation Store,
Yeah, and it's PlayStation
which
Store,
is
which
just the skins as well. And
another skin. So basically, the GameStop one is the one with the most issues here because we're talking about giving players an actual a palpable advantage if they pre-order at GameStop.
Right, and I feel
You
like
mean
that's
like,
that can be a problem. I feel like I don't play a lot of multiplayer versus modes on these kind of games, so maybe it doesn't affect me as much, or maybe it's not as big of a deal to me as it would be to most people. But yeah, I get it for sure.
I
it
think
depends
it's
how their boost system is implemented. I used to play Battlefield 4, and they would hand out boosts like candy. Like I ended up with more boosts than I actually had in-game time to use. Part of that was because EA's entire strategy with that game was I don't know where they got it from. It was totally asinine as far as I can tell. But
don't forget the Halo boost with every single Mountain Dew can.
oh my god.
yeah,
Oh, to Mountain
Jeff
Dew.
Keighley will gladly tell us all about that.
In Doritos.
Yeah. And honestly, right, this is why I think that the whole pre-order idea of pre-order should really die, especially now that we enter the digital age. Because the whole point of pre-orders, right, pre-Steam, right, is that you are guaranteed to get the game at day one before the stocks run out, right?
Yeah, limited supply.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of pre-ordering back in the
Yeah,
day.
but now that there's now that digital the idea of digital shortages is very very ridiculous, right? Retailers and game publishers will have to actually think of a new way to entice players to pre-order, right? But I think that this is going a bit too far because you're basically tying like specific bonuses of in-game, right, to specific retailers. So it's basically you're pretty much cutting out content and incentivizing this cut out content like piece by piece, depending on which outlets you sell it on.
By the way, Valerie,
Yes.
even if you pre-order, you're not guaranteed to get your copy. Technically, if from like GameStop and such, because they still can run out.
Which is so silly, because then it's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah. Why are you even doing this? I mean, you can get the game digitally.
Yeah, exactly. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, you know what? I used to see the point in physical games. I didn't have to wait a bajillion years to download a game. I could just pop it in and out of my my PS3 or whatever and be like, okay, I can play this. But now with the new consoles, you have to pretty much install the game data anyway. It just
Yeah.
cuts a couple hours off because you go out of the store, you get the game, and then it has to install all of the data.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
the,
Yeah, and
the
here's
biggest
why I
value
think,
left in a physical copy is that it's something that's resellable,
Yeah.
which means that if you are the type who takes games back to the store to resell them when you're done, or sells them on eBay, whatever, then there's a little. It's
Hello?
Hello?
I think you got cut off.
He died. But yeah, I can see what he was saying. I, unfortunately... Welcome back.
Here's what I think should be done with pre-orders, right? If you're going to tie pre-orders to a physical copy, right? Like if you're going to have a physical copy and a digital copy of the game, right? The physical copy needs to have like physical trinkets to incentivize pre-orders, like special editions with nice like painted figures, nice medallions, nice trinkets. Maybe a physical copy of the soundtrack will be nice, or maybe the art book.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, actually, there's another thing to say for a plus for physical copies of games. Mainly of what I learned recently about Nintendo. Nintendo had actually shut down the servers for the Wii Store. The original Wii Store.
That's
and
fucked up.
Yeah, they did.
All the games that was tied to the Wii Store are now dead. You literally can't play them.
That's... Wait,
Yep.
why? Can they actually get away with that? I mean, that is...
Yes, it's part of the terms of service.
Someday the servers will no longer be profitable, and when they're no longer profitable to run, then it's actually considered to be their duty to their shareholders to shut down the unprofitable service. And that is going to start happening, and we're going to start seeing major issues with game preservation.
Yeah.
That's why I have.
It's only a matter of and it's only a matter of time before these platforms get in trouble because, according to European trade laws, right, this sort of shit is illegal.
Really? It's
Yep.
illegal? Maybe.
Well,
it's
it depends. What they do to get around it is, and this is especially what the PlayStation service does, is they market it as not being they're selling you a good, but they're selling you a service, and that can be discontinued at any time.
Yeah, like I mentioned last time.
Also, I have a question, by the way.
Yeah.
Did anyone else have the Scott Pilgrim game?
No.
My friend does.
It's not on the store anymore. Has anyone noticed this?
I haven't bothered looking.
Because I tried to download it on my friend's PS3 because I have a shared account with her, and cause she never played it. I was like, yeah, we'll play it. And then, sure enough, I looked and it's not in my download list anymore. I have the game still on my PS3. But for some reason, maybe it was my mistake, but I couldn't download it anymore. I'd like to look into that at some point. Because, yeah, I mean, that is bothersome with the entire POS.
Their servers.
This shit right here, combined with the original Wii Store bullshit, is why piracy exists and is so much alive today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if they made it so that... You know what's another bullshit thing I got a rant about for just one second? It'll be quick, though. There was a game I always kind of wanted to play, but I will probably never ever have a chance to, because it only existed in disc copies, to my knowledge, and disc copies are now going for $100 on eBay, which is outrageous.
Are you talking about the Wolfenstein game?
No. I'm talking about. I am talking about that one Lord of the Rings. RTS. I think it was called
War of the Ring?
It was something. No. It was a more recent one by EA. And the sad thing is EA has... What?
War for the Worlds?
No. It was a Lord of the Rings. Anyway, it was Lord of the Rings RTS. It was supposedly really, really good. I would probably never ever get to play it. Point being, there are so many companies that just kind of completely overlook opportunities to re-release games digitally for no reason. One of those companies needs to be, of course, EA, because EA has the rights to a lot of games from their kind of their golden age, if you will. And for some reason, they only release certain ones, and they won't release all of them digitally, which is kind of silly to me.
Yep. Yeah.
It costs next to nothing to release a game digitally, especially if you've already made it.
It gets really complicated legally. Like one of the things that what's that that game service, good old GOG,
Yeah.
Cool games, yeah.
keeps
Good
trying to
games.
want to release No One Lives Forever and No One Lives Forever 2, which were awesome games.
Yeah.
But every single time they try, it ends up being none of the companies involved know who actually holds the rights to release it, and not only that, but every time they contact anyone to try and work it out, they basically end up getting lawyers who say, no, it would actually be too expensive to find out, so we're not even going to bother.
Mhm.
Which is silly, because I don't think that a lot of people realize how profitable it would be to release a game that even had a cult following. Like, some of these old games that are not being re-released as digital copies, I'd buy them. Like, I know I'm not the only one who would buy that
Here's the
shit.
thing, though. None of these game rights holders actually care unless they're getting a slice of the pie, and that is why it's taking so long to get the game re-released. Because if 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 it turns out that the person is getting like the credit for the game, like for having the rights of the game that they don't actually do, right? It's going to raise a lot of legal hell.
Hmm.
Because let's say, oh, you're making money off of our product, now we sue you. And while we're at it, we can also sue GOG.
Yep,
Mhm.
and I believe we should go into the next sections.
Yeah. Now, before we do, I'd like to mention that GOG has a very, very good policy that if a game happens to be pulled from the store due to these legal rights issues, right, and it happens pretty often, right, the people who already bought the game, right, will get to keep the game in their account, but nobody can actually buy it anymore, which is kind of a
Right.
nice bonus. So you still own the game, right? But people who are interested in the game can no longer buy it, which I think
You
is
mean just
fair.
like Steam,
Yep,
where if a game gets pulled, you still own it. You can still re-download it, play
yep,
it on there, but no one else can buy it.
yep.
Hmm.
Huh, that's cool.
It's kind of like because I remember that when Star Wars Galaxies finally shut down their servers, I can still actually download Star Wars Galaxies. I mean, I can't play it, but it's always there. I always have the files at my disposal.
Yeah, I've seen a few games where Steam had interesting issues with them, and yet everyone got to keep a copy. Prey for a while, the game Prey was removed from Steam because they actually ran out of license keys to sell, which sounds like an absurd thing to say in the digital era. But you couldn't buy it.
Yeah, you couldn't buy it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And for the
that's
next
another
bit
game
of
that I wish would
pre-order,
be. That's
next
another
bit of
game that I
pre-order.
wish.
Yeah.
Sorry.
As a next bit of pre-order, let's talk about the Street Fighter Collector's Edition pre-order bonuses.
Oh
More
God, more pre-order shit.
Yeah.
Let's
We're in that
see.
time of the year where it's pre-order this, pre-order that.
Oh
Yep.
my
See,
God.
this one I'm kind of interested in because it has a hardcover art book. It has a 10-inch fully painted Ryu statue. I'm not sure what it's made from. What is it made of? Do we know? No. Okay. I don't know. It
It's
just
vinyl.
looks really cool.
I'm not too fond of the statue though. The pose is a bit too symmetrical.
It is. I agree with you. If he was like standing like ready to punch somebody, it'd be way cooler.
Yeah.
Or in Hadouken pose. Dude, that would have been a way better statue as Hadouken.
And it would be nice if there's not just a Ryu statue, but you can get any statue of one of the fighters at random.
Well, this is the Collector's Edition. So
Uh-huh.
they all gotta be streamlined.
So
Yeah.
collectible, collectible, tradable.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like that'd be
know,
actually
but
pretty. Well,
money.
I mean, if it's something that's not a full statue like that, I could see that. Like what they do with the pins for Monster Hunter 4.
Hmm. Ooh, Udon Digital Street Fighter comics.
I know. I was kind of looking at that too.
And
Yeah,
I
that's
should
kinda
be
cool.
right back. I need to go take care of something. You guys can
Oh,
keep
yeah. This is actually kind of neat. A Twitch 1 month subscription to Capcom Fighters channel.
That's pretty cool too.
That's a clever idea.
I
Yeah.
like that. It would get people to watch it, so it's kind of smart, and then they can get them hooked on it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Skyward
I'm
Fire is
guessing.
actually not a bad channel.
Yeah, I'm guessing for the first few months they're going to start having like Street Fighter 5 workshops to help new players get good at the game.
Hmm.
So that would be an actual bonus. Like you get the game like early, and you get to learn how to get good in the game, so you can beat
So,
up noobs
so
that play
guys,
the game
I got a
later.
little poll. I got a weird like little question for everyone here right now. And it's interesting. I think you'll like it.
Hmm.
So, besides any Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts titles, what is the game you're most hyped for? Does not have a scheduled release date yet. Does not. We have no idea when it's coming out. The release date is TBA, but you're hyped for it. And you really can't wait.
I am looking forward to whenever SquareSoft decides to make, Square Enix decides to make the next mana game that is actually good.
No, but I'm talking about games that are already announced that don't have a release date.
Oh.
Yeah. Like they're already announced. We know it's coming. There's a trailer out, but we do not know when it's coming. And it can't be a Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts game because everyone's gonna be like, Kingdom Hearts 15 because it looks amazing and the demo was great. But like, yeah.
Honestly, I really don't have anything I'm looking forward to from Square Enix.
Well,
That
from
isn't
anybody.
FF or Kingdom Hearts.
Well, yeah, but
Well,
I mean, anybody at all.
Yeah.
The game that I was about to say is actually out and has been for a while. I hadn't been paying attention to it. Man,
What
I
game
need
is
to
it?
buy it.
Which
What
one?
game is it?
Frozen Cortex, the bizarre hybrid of Frozen Synapse and football, American football.
What the
Mine,
fuck?
mine is honestly, I have two. One is I think it's that new game by the people that make Killzone. I can't remember the title off the top of my head. I think it's Zero Horizon or Zero Dawn.
Uh-huh.
It looks amazing. It looks really cool. But the other major one, and this honestly, like, I'm sorry guys, bigger than the last Guardian re-reveal of them saying, yeah, we got the rights back, we're all good, we're actually gonna make it. Bigger than that for me, new Nier game coming out, co-developed by Platinum.
Nier?
Yeah, does anyone here ever played the first Nier?
I've heard of it, but I've never touched
Has
it.
anyone here ever played Drakengard or any of the other Drakengard games?
No, I'm not a console gamer, so I actually haven't heard much about it.
Yeah, so Drakengard was a super cool series. It was really underrated. It involved so many different kinds of gameplay, a lot of hack and slash stuff. Also a weird rhythmy based thing at some points with the dragons, and it was cool.
Hey,
And there was a secret ending to the first Drakengard, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, where it was really sad, and basically the apocalypse happens and the whole world is covered in a cloud of awful. Nier is based off of that ending. Because all the Drakengard are based off the ending of, or prequels to the first Drakengard. And Nier was based off the hidden ending. It was really cool. It was like an open world action hack and slash RPG with a really, really sad story. It kind of made you think. It was a really good game.
So basically, you're saying that Nier is pretty much a Drakengard's game in disguise.
Well, no, it's very Drakengard-ish. It's in the same universe. Plays nothing like Drakengard. It's much more action RPG. It's more comparable to the 3D Legend of Zeldas, but way more open than that. You can go anywhere. You have upgradable weapons, and there's a ton of them. It's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
So all that's going on, and they're finally making a sequel, and freaking Platinum is co-developing it.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like losing my mind. Like when I first saw that, I was like exploding. And it's funny because no one else seems quite as hype as I am, which makes me kind of sad. The game really, I feel like the guy who made Drakengard and Nier and all that stuff, he definitely needs more attention from Square because the guy's brilliant. They don't give him enough hugs. But yeah. How about you, Q?
I did think of a few that I'm looking forward to. Specifically, two that are in a dead genre that I'm glad is being resuscitated because I used to like the genre a lot. A Hat in Time and Ukulele.
Ukulele, I'm very excited. I forgot to mention. I'm
Let
very
me
excited.
guess. Those are point-and-click adventure games, right?
No.
They're a genre that has been dead for a couple of console generations, which I colloquially describe as the 3D exploration platformer. 3D platformers still
Think
exist,
like Banjo
but they're
Kazooie.
generally linear. They're generally linear now, including like the Mario games, which is hilarious because Mario 64 set out the template for a 3D exploration platformer and then promptly ditched it.
I love that kind of stuff. I also like Spyro for that a lot, and I wish that they could make a good Spyro game that wasn't just Skylanders and awful. But we need to just come to terms with the fact we'll never have another amazing Spyro game like the old PS1 Spyros. But still, I mean, yeah, it's very exciting that they're going to release some games that are like that. Particularly Ukulele, which is all the old Rare crew who did games like Banjo Kazooie and all that stuff. That's gonna be awesome.
And the one game I'm looking forward to right now is basically the re-release of Tales of Symphonia, but that is not Square Enix though.
No, that's who does Tales?
Yeah, that's Namco Bandai.
Yeah,
And to be honest, right, I'm not very sure that the port is going to be any good.
Wait, which one? Oh, that it's not gonna. I've already heard from numerous people who are huge Tales fans. They're very disappointed the way it's shaping up to look.
Yeah,
I'm very sad to hear that, which is unfortunate.
Wait, are you talking about Tales of Symphonia on PC or Tales of Zestiria?
Oh, Tales of Zestiria. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm talking about Tales of Zestiria. I've heard next to nothing about the Tales of Symphonia PC port. But yeah. Another thing. And I'm really happy that this is coming back too, because Sega really gave it a raw deal, and kind of dumped it to say we're just gonna make Sonic games, and then Sonic Boom happened. Like, we're not just gonna make Sonic games anymore. we fucked up there.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yes.
So when that happened, when Sonic, the worst thing was for me, after this game got canceled for Western release, because it had been out in Japan for like 2 years. And they all released countless spin-offs in Japan. Because the last game released to the West didn't sell very well, and that's because nobody liked it, even in Japan. But yeah, so when this game got canceled, they immediately, like, bam, announced Sonic Boom, and I was, like, pissed. I'm talking about Yakuza 5.
Oh, yes.
Yakuza 5 is finally coming out in the West, probably sometime in November or December.
And then
on PS3. On PS3 with all the DLC included. So I'm like, thank God. Like, first of all, the game has so much DLC, so I'm glad that we don't have to buy any of that. Now it's already been out. But it's really cool that they're going to do that. And if Yakuza 5 sells well in the West, you can bet the Yakuza 0, the HD remakes of 1 and 2, and also, what was it? Yakuza Ishin are all going to come out. Because they've all been made, they've been out for years. But for some reason, Sega was just, no, let's just release nothing but Sonic games and, like, reboots and ports of, like, old games to the West. And just fuck Yakuza. And I was like, really? Like, that's one of your best-selling, like, mature franchises. That's one of the only mature franchises you have that is actually a seller. I mean, it was just very sad for me, personally. But I'm really glad to see it coming back. Because if anyone watching has not seen Yakuza, please go or played Yakuza, like Yakuza 3 or Yakuza 4 especially, because I can just say get Yakuza 3 and Yakuza 4 because Yakuza 3 has all the story from 1 and 2 on it in like a 2-hour like film thingy and explanation. They're really good games. Just play them. Yeah. That and also Shenmue 3 looks pretty cool.
Oh god, have you heard about the whole Shenmue Kickstarter?
Yeah,
that
I'm really
was
excited.
Legendary. Like someone just casually mentioned it that there's a Kickstarter for Shenmue.
Yeah, the
3,
guy who makes the game showed up and was like, "Yeah, so I got a Kickstarter. It's kind of basically out of my own pocket for the most part, but if you guys can help, I can really make the game. It's gonna be really cool. Here's the game." They show fucking Shenmue 3, and it was like,
and everyone just exploded and just threw their money.
Dude, it's so funny in like the entire room, like all these grown men screaming like little girls, like ah! It was so funny. I was like, oh my god, they want it so bad. Please, I really want to. I love Shenmue.
Yeah. It's kind of disappointing that Shenmue kind of got cancelled. Like the Shenmue franchise got canned after its outing and the Dreamcast.
Well, yeah, and no, it had it on Xbox too. They had Shenmue 2 on the Xbox.
Oh, so it was like a port.
Yeah, and it was good. It was a good port, but like it's kind of unfortunate. And a lot of people that made Shenmue, I guess some of the people that made Shenmue for Sega, also went on to make the Yakuza franchise, which I love Yakuza, don't get me wrong, but I love Shenmue too, and I would have very much liked to see both of them continue to be awesome. And now I get to see that, and I'm so proud.
Well, here's an idea, a Shenmue and Yakuza crossover.
See, I think that'd be pretty cool, except there's only one problem.
Yeah?
Kazuma Kiryu would just wreck everybody in the Shenmue universe, like, unquestionably. Like, it wouldn't be fair. I mean, I like how most Yakuza games, if not all, seem to end with a shirtless rooftop fight. It's very funny to me. Like, even the zombie one ended up with a shirtless rooftop fight.
Nice.
Speaking of which, the zombie one was one that nobody liked. Don't buy it. Dead Souls sucks. That's the whole reason why they didn't release 5 for so long. Is because Dead Souls is had such poor sales because everyone was like, "What is this shit?" That Sega's like, "Oh, I guess they don't like Yakuza anymore." I'm like, "No, we just don't like this one Yakuza game. It's bad. Don't give it to us."
Zombie? You mean you're talking about that zombie game, right?
Yeah, the zombie. It's Yakuza Dead Souls. Is the zombie one. And it was not good.
Yeah, somehow I don't see a franchise like Yakuza lending well to a zombie kind of action game.
Yeah, the combat wasn't. Welcome back. Yeah, the combat really isn't meant for something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like Yakuza and zombies seems to be an idea that's better suited to DLC rather than its own game.
Yeah, and they made its entire own game. And I was like, why'd you do that?
Either that or turn it into like a kind of like a B or Z list type of kind of film, akin to, let's say, Evil Dead versus the zombies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're talking about those Kanto films where martial arts meets zombies.
Yeah, those are pretty fun. Another huge glaring issue that I found with I don't know, yeah, and I agree with you on that. It should have absolutely been just like an add-on or like a side story, not an entire game. Because I mean, and also by the way, little known fact, they did actually make a Yakuza movie. It's called Like a Dragon. And
so how far off topic have we gone from the list?
Very far off topic.
Very far off topic. We were talking about video games and then what we were hyped for, and then we just got lost.
I can't even leave you guys alone for one moment, apparently.
No, you can't. You really can't, because then I'll start asking, what games are you hyped for that haven't been announced?
You know what game I'm hyped for that's also on this list?
Which one?
Ace Attorney 6.
Yay! Yay.
That's right, 6.
I've never actually played any games in that series. Hopefully this would be a good introduction. Yeah,
wait, no, don't introduction. It's like it's a story. It's a storyline.
It's an ongoing story? Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be right
back.
Not entirely. You do get a little bit of a recap and reintroduction each game of what each character is. But you feel like you miss out a little bit if you don't play the other games of the actual connection.
Yeah. Dang it, QuQu. Why are you so adorable yet so not playing these games?
Well, in that case, my issue was I didn't have a portable console at the time at all.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna find you an emulator, and I'm gonna give you these ROMs.
Do it.
That's one way to do it.
I mean, I'm going to get you a DS and give you the games, the actual games, legally. Wink.
Well,
Yes, yes.
I can look over right now and look at my modded Wii and my N64 flash card collection.
You mean you're
And
completely normal Wii and you're completely
both of
normal.
which I'm using as
N64.
development tools for homebrew, clearly.
Clearly, right?
Yes.
Well, let's see here. As we now know, Ace Attorney 6 has been announced and is coming to the West. Yay, America! And the main premise is it takes place in a foreign country.
Where could it be? Where could it be? Who knows? I mean,
Well,
don't
hey,
all
I'm gonna
of
be
us...
right back, guys.
Giant Japanese temple.
Oh, God.
I see some Shaolin-looking monks. I see a yak.
It's gonna be in
I
Nepal.
see
It's
a
gonna
new
be in
spirit
Nepal.
medium.
He's suing the Dalai Lama.
Yep.
They're suing the Dalai Lama. It's happening. Canon.
Well, actually, apparently, technically, in the Japanese version, these games actually take place in Japan.
Which is so weird because it's not at all in Japan.
Well, yes. Kind of, for some of the games, you get a little bit of very Japanese-y kind of things, like in Apollo Justice. That one is the
Yeah.
most.
Mm-hmm.
Or even the new Ace Attorney that was for the 3DS download only. That one had a few Japanese, more themed moments.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway.
It never felt Japanese to me.
Same here, especially since, the one character says, "What? You Americans don't just go wherever you want?"
Yeah, well, it had what do they call them? Woolly-eyed translations.
Yeah.
The main thing that shows off that it is taking place in Japan is the way the justice system works. The way that it basically doesn't have the same standard of proof that the prosecution needs to show, which is why it's so hard to be a defense lawyer.
Yeah. And there's a new NPC to join you throughout the whole thing. And
Alright, I'm back. What did I miss?
Ace Attorney 6
Oh.
coming to the United States.
See how my mic got muted and I felt bad about it.
And there's a new character being introduced. And there's
Is
a
he
new
hot?
spirit media. I don't know, are you into shoulders?
No.
Then there's your answer.
Okay.
It's a kid. It looks like a young teenage boy.
Is he like your spunky sidekick who goes on adventures with you and finds out what's going on?
I guess so, because he's also a spirit medium. Maybe he's related to my Fae.
Spirit medium?
What, you don't remember Mai?
No, I do. It's just I'm picturing him working with Ace with with Phoenix Wright. It would be very funny to me. Anyway, yeah, but I'm excited for that. I'm excited for a lot of things. It's just going to be a good next couple of years for game releases.
Yeah. And speaking of releases, we have the new Tokyo Game Show lineups for both Square Enix and Koyo Tecmo.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I would very much. I need it to happen now.
Yeah.
Square Enix, I am fairly interested in, but Koei Tecmo, no, because they have a really, really strong history of releasing just atrocious, awful PC ports to Steam.
Yeah.
So whenever they release, right, I would say that it is best to look for them on console, because there is no way to make those games play good on PC. No
That's
way.
because they tie the frame rate of these games to the engine.
Yep.
shoot. That's never good.
Darn. Yeah.
That's a very, very common practice in almost all Japanese companies, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of times porting in general from some Japanese companies just seems to be kind of like, it's almost like they just don't want to at all, but they know they have to, so they just kind of half-ass it. Like, okay, wait, remember when Bandai Namco ordering physical copies of their games on like Amazon or something when they were going on for limited physical release outside of stores? It was kind of a gamble if you were going to get a disc or not, right?
Mhm.
I was like, I might get a disc with this game, or I might just get a download code in a box. Like, it was very important. Like my friend actually, at one point ordered the Gundam Dynasty Warriors game, the new one, and he got it if he wanted to get physical, just because it was kind of cool. I would have limited physical release. And he opens up the box, and there's straight up just a download code in it.
Wow.
Like actual game box with a download code.
Wow.
And he waited
really-
like 3 days.
Horrible.
Yeah, and it was awful because like I remember I had the same feeling of dread when I ordered the JoJo All-Star Battle game on PS3 on Amazon. Luckily, that came with a disc, no manual, but a disc. And I've seen so many examples of when it didn't. It just straight up was a download code in a game box. I don't know. I imagine PC ports are even more of a nightmare because controls, they just don't even care.
Yeah. So,
Throw it in there.
the Square Enix lineup, in alphabetical order, is Alice Order for the iOS and Android, Dragon Quest Builders for the PS4, PS3, and PS Vita, a game we'll never see in America,
Oh,
Dragon Quest Heroes 2, another game we'll never see in America.
well, they're releasing Dragon Quest Heroes in America.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
For the PS3, PS4, PS Vita.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest 7 Warriors of Eden for the iOS and Android.
Huh.
Dragon Quest X Online for the Wii U, Wii, 3DS, and PC. Fantasy Herb Zero for the PC. Figureheads PC. Final Fantasy Adventure Platforms to be determined. Now that's a name I have not heard in ages.
What the
What?
fuck?
Final
What the
Fantasy
fuck is
Adventure.
that?
Yeah, I haven't heard that in forever either now that you mentioned it.
Final Fantasy Brave Exvius for the iOS and Android. Final
Oh,
Fantasy
we're talking
Gremcast.
about the Mevius or whatever?
What?
Mevius or whatever it's called?
ESVIUS.
Oh, okay. Mevius, I guess. Yeah, I've heard about that. Actually looks really, really cool. It's like a Final Fantasy MMO on iOS and Android.
Huh.
Kind
And
of, or
that's
something. I don't know.
Grandmasters for the iOS and Android. Record Keeper for the iOS and Android. Final Fantasy 11?
What?
Huh. I guess they're still doing stuff for that. For the PS2, 360, and PC.
PS2. I've really never shut down the servers on the PS2, did
No.
they?
And of course, Final Fantasy 14, Heaven's Sword, PS4, PS3, PC. Final Fantasy 15 for the PS4 and Xbox One. Gunslinger Stratos Reloaded for the PC. Heaven Strike Rivals for the iOS and Android. Imperial Saga, PC browser. Kingdom Hearts Unchained, Chi!
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 iOS, Android.
Makes me want to squish your cheeks when you say Chi. It's
Lord of the
ridiculous.
Million Arena for PC. Mobius Final Fantasy. And for some reason, when I read Mobius, I'm thinking Final Fantasy Sonic.
Oh my god.
Oh god, please. No.
Ah,
I remember seeing a badly drawn fan character, which is basically Sonic mixed with Pikachu mixed with Sora.
Oh. Oh, you hurt my soul with that list.
I'm not even done yet. Rampage Land Rankers.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is it any relation to the Rampage World Tour series?
No idea. I haven't even
I would
bothered
imagine
checking
not.
those.
I think that's owned by
Yeah.
someone else.
Yeah, it's owned
that-
by who?
The Rampage series was owned by Midway.
Yeah, Midway.
Huh.
Next is Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness for the PS4 and PS3. And finally, World of Final Fantasy.
A
That's
new
it.
Star Ocean game would be
World of
nice.
Final Fantasy to me looks like Fantasy Life, but with Final Fantasy.
That's it. We're having the WoW clone in Final Fantasy form now. It's official.
That's what I was
Dude,
thinking.
I would
of.
buy that. I'm not gonna. I like Fantasy Life.
I was thinking it would be a crossover of WoW and Final Fantasy, like Kingdom Hearts style, but an MMO.
That'd be adorable.
I only say that because of the name, World of Final Fantasy.
Yep.
Yeah, isn't that the one that's like basically all chibi and shit? It just
Yeah,
instantly reminded me of Fantasy Life, but yeah. That's
Yes,
literally
it
the
is
first
all
thing I thought
chibi.
of.
It's entirely heavily chibi everything, with giant heads.
It looks adorable.
And the first screenshot, there is Cloud. Is that Cloud? I assume that's Cloud, riding a behemoth with a little fox plane on top of his head.
Oh! That sounds like it would give you diabetes. Just like viewing the image.
Should I go through Koei Tecmo since no one's really that interested?
I don't care. Go for it, dude. I want to hear all this
they
shit.
have they have stuff on consoles, and it might be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to. They also have a section for smartphones.
Let's avoid that.
Consoles
Well,
and
why?
Windows PC.
I'm pretty sure that the smartphone section would be good for a laugh.
Yeah, okay. Do them
Angelic-
both. Let's go.
Angelic Retour, PS Vita and PSP. Arslan, the Warriors of Legend, PS4, PS3. Atelier Sophie, the Alchemist of the Mysterious Book. Apparently, my friend says that's actually an amazing game series.
I heard of
Yeah.
Atelier. I've
Yeah.
heard of Atelier, right? And if there's one thing I can say about the Atelier series is that they have a pretty amazing soundtrack.
Next one, Attack on Titan. For
Oh,
PS4, PS3, and PS Vita.
The fifth official game of the. I noticed that they've stopped suffixing things with things like that.
Oh,
I thought the
emo
only official
garbage.
game they have was on 3DS.
And that says Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Fortune and Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Venus.
Hmm. I wonder how the move physics will be on those games.
They're gonna be so outrageous, they're just gonna flop all over the place.
The boob like
Simon
bursts
Boob.
through your screen. There's glass everywhere. You're
Oh my
wondering what
god.
happened, how your
They
life
come
Oh my
got to this
God.
point.
Oh my god, imagine move physics with the Oculus Rift.
Next game, Deception Trap Girls.
Wait, what?
Deception Trap Girls. For the PC.
Does it have actual traps in it? Because I'm buying it if it does.
Me too.
I don't know, I mean, like,
Yeah, Deception also sounds intriguing.
You're gay.
If we're not trapping girls, but we're looking at traps in a video game, I'm buying that.
Alright, I want to research this.
Now we have to research. Now I gotta research in it.
Console action style strategy RPG series created by Tecmo and Sony. Line of PlayStation consoles. This is some passive combat via the use of traps.
Oh wait, what's it called?
Oh, Deception, that's Kagero.
Oh, Deception. Okay, I've played that shit.
Deception.
It's not
Trap
traps.
Girls.
Everyone, false alarm. It's actual traps, not traps.
What a disappointment.
I know.
Well, there's the next Dynasty Warriors Online. You look forward to that. For the PS4, PS3, and PC.
You know, that actually makes a lot of sense, is the Dynasty Warrior games are very extremely grindy. Like, you go through like a million soldiers before you get anywhere in the game plot, right? So it actually makes kind of a lot of sense to turn it into an MMO.
Yeah.
It all depends if they can actually create an end game for it.
And finally, not even finally, rather. Next, we have Hyrule Warrior Legends
The mobile version. Well, the
for the
3DS
3DS.
Yeah,
version.
it's the 3DS version.
Mhm.
You know,
So
honestly, I
basically,
liked
Dynasty
Hyrule.
Warriors.
I honestly
Yeah.
like Hyrule Warriors because it was like Dynasty Warriors but with a few extra tweaks thrown in, which they usually don't do. They usually don't tweak anything. They just leave it as it is and just make Dynasty Warriors. But I feel like they at least tried to make it a little bit different that time.
I think that's because Nintendo said, "You better treat us right, or else we're going to screw you in the ass."
We're gonna screw you in the ass and divorce you.
We saw what you did to Gundam.
Next
Hey,
one is a
now,
name I
the
cannot
Gundam-
pronounce.
The Gundam Warrior series isn't that bad.
It's not that bad, but like some of them were not that good, and they didn't deviate enough from Dynasty
Yeah.
Warriors.
Well, if there's one franchise that they actually managed to rape, it's the Fist of the North Star series. Cause like the
God,
first game was
please.
good, but the second game was like really, really fucking shameful.
It was
Yeah.
indeed. Continue though, Kota. I'm very sorry.
Let's hear a name I can't pronounce, so I'm not even going to try.
Try making an ass of yourself.
Yep. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13 for the PS4, PS3, and PC. Samurai Warriors 4 Empires. PS4, 3, Vita. Uncharted Waters Online. PS4,
What?
PS3, PC.
Hasn't
Uncharted
that
Waters.
game been dead for like ever?
Yes.
Apparently
Bring
not.
the back for online.
Speaking of which, I really, really wish that they would bring back Tales of Eternia Online.
And, I'm not even going to bother with the smartphone list because all this stuff looks stupid. 1 million person Nobunaga ambition.
Nobunaga's Ambition!
Nobunaga.
Nobunaga.
Is that a dating sim?
No, it's a really, really good game. It was like a
Uh-huh.
strategy game, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
Well, speaking of
Thanks.
3DSs earlier, there's a new 3DS being announced. Come to
Oh my
America.
good golly.
Hmm. And how is it different from the older ones?
It's the new
Well, no,
3DS.
it's new 3DS. It's the new 3DS, the one that's like new. But they didn't give us. They only gave us the XL when they initially announced it, or when they initially released it. This is a normal sized new 3DS.
I prefer
Oh.
the XLs myself.
So do I. It's bigger and it feels better.
And this one has Animal Crossing theme. No, it does not come with the game.
Hmm.
It has Isabella on the front.
Huh.
Cute.
Yep.
Yeah.
A bigger, blacker 3DS.
Yep.
Okay, so just really quick. If you guys need to know what Nobunaga's Ambition is, think Kessen.
What's that?
What?
The game Kessen.
And what is that?
It was a strategy kind of game for PS2, and it was really, really good. And it was basically the same. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was the same game, just a different name.
Nah.
But like, it's pretty good. I like it.
So,
Sorry.
Yeah, the comparison somewhat broke down because none of us knew what that was.
And now you guys know what fucking
We appreciate the
Kessen is.
effort.
yeah,
Makes me sad.
You're now the official weeb of the channel.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want this title. I didn't choose this life.
Well, Chris, you know what? I'm
live
really
chat.
glad I picked you for this stream because you seem to have played like pretty much every game on the earth.
I try.
Well, we're going to move on to Capcom. And they've announced that, as we remember, they recently released Resident Evil 1 HD Remaster. That was digital, mostly, for the PS4 and Xbox One and, well, Steam, PC.
Yeah?
And they're doing that for the Resident Evil 0. And now they're bundling the two.
That's nice.
Along with giving Zero a new gameplay mode called Wesker mode.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you don't even for digital as well. You don't have to buy the bundle, which is both of them. You can buy Zero standalone as well.
Oh,
You know, sometimes when they do
you
these
know,
re-releases of
yeah.
games, like that this series has fundamentally changed since then. Like Resident Evil now, the new Resident Evils they come out with are nothing like the originals. But sometimes when they do these re-releases of the originals, there's kind of a recentering of people who desire for a new game to come out in the series that's a bit of a throwback. I'm somewhat hoping that that will happen. That
Yeah,
we'll again start to see more of the uh, classic survival horror style
Resident
instead of
Evil
the
7, actual survival horror.
Resident Evil 7
Resident Evil
with real
7.
zombies.
Like to be
Evil
fair
7.
though, Resident Evil
Sorry.
6 isn't. To be fair though, Resident Evil 6 isn't exactly a bad game. It's just not survival horror.
Yeah, it's
No.
not Resident Evil. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I I tend to think that the last one that was really qualified was 4,
yep, I
Uh-huh.
agree with you.
and that was already moving away from the core formula. But somehow they managed to combine the core formula with something new, and yet still have it feel like uh, uh, survival horror. I mean, it was very
Because
clever what
they
they did.
had a lot of suspense and
Mhm.
the atmosphere.
Plus the controls. You have to mention how the controls are designed to make it so that you don't feel like an FPS hero, but everything you do is pretty much awkward. Like aiming, you have to stand still.
Yes, not just the controls, but the way they did the camera too. The
Yeah,
camera,
tank
yeah,
controls, having to stand still for aiming. I mean, those kind of contributed to the tenseness of each encounter.
yeah. And if you look at how the enemies behaved, they specifically exploited that. They would try
Yep.
and get outside your field of view to exploit the fact that you can turn very fast. It was very cleverly done.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
the way that they made the all the cultists chant so that when they were trying to flank you, you could tell, and it would just creep you out. It was brilliant.
I love that game. I played it the death, basically.
And you
And
know what? I
also
think
for the
you know what? I
Resident
think the
Evil
timing.
Zero new mode added, which is Wesker mode. It's not just, oh, we slapped a Wesker skin on Billy. No, we gave Billy a whole new arsenal with all
Nice.
the overpowered Wesker abilities.
are we still talking about 4 right now? I got
No,
distracted.
No.
talking about Zero.
Yeah. I have to
Oh,
say that this announcement is come at a very good time because we're nearing the Halloween season, and so this game would be pretty nice for up and coming people who are into horror games, right? To sink their teeth into.
Sadly, it's not till January.
Oh,
Oh darn!
oh darn. Uh,
I think
uh,
that's probably because of, okay, for the HG remake of 1, it was digital only. This
uh
time, since with the bundle, they're also doing a physical release
I see.
instead of just bundle, instead of just doing digital again only. But if you want to buy Zero standalone, you have to buy it digitally,
Uh
just like you did with 1.
mm.
But to
I
me,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of glad that Capcom is at least attempting to not be bad right now.
They will still
Um,
always have that black mark in my book for them until they give me my goddamn Mega Man Legends 3.
Uh, or what about that? What about that game, DMC Devil May Cry?
Eh?
Is that
I
also
don't
a
know.
black mark?
I honestly, that's one of those games where it's has very radically different opinions depending on who you ask.
Uh-huh.
I think if you are a original Devil May Cry fan, then you might not like it as much.
I
Whereas
died for half a second.
if it's your first game in the series, then yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that actually is related.
It's very, very bad. I don't like it. I mean, it's not even just in terms of like story or I'm some kind of fanboy who can't accept a reboot. If the
Or the
reboot
fact that
done well,
he doesn't have white hair.
yeah, I'm not even about that. But if the reboot had been done well instead of being focused on let's be as edgy as possible, I would have been okay with it. But I didn't like the way the game was written. I didn't like half of the gameplay because there were only like 3 weapons in the whole game, if I remember. And it was basically like a Heavenly Sword combat system, which the company that made Heavenly Sword made DMC. And I was like, why? Why are we doing that? It's not Heavenly Sword, it's Devil May Cry. It needs to have a huge varied weapon system, and it needs to be really, really interesting and fun. The story doesn't have to be edgy as fuck. And also the fact they took constant stabs at the old Devil May Cry fans, like that's a bad idea. That's a
Yeah,
great way to make sure nobody buys your game in your target audience at all.
yeah, I think that if they hadn't made those stabs at the original Devil May Cry in their audience, right, the original audience might have still had a chance to warm up to the new game.
Yeah, but instead they were just like when the white. I almost turned the game off when the white like wig flew onto his head. And he goes, "Not in a million years." And he throws it away.
And
I
let's
was
not
like, "Are you
forget,
kidding
let's
me?"
not forget, yeah, let's not forget Castlevania Lords of Darkness.
Now, see, I didn't dislike Lords of Shadow.
Lord of Shadow, yeah. Well, here's the thing though. It is not a bad game in its own right, but they pretty much like slapped Castlevania name on it at the last second. It was originally intended to be like a new franchise,
Yeah,
but
but I like the
someone,
story.
Mhm. But someone up there decided that it's gonna be a Castlevania game, therefore it's gonna sell better.
You mean
Yeah,
like
I
they
mean,
did
I
for
guess it was kind of
4?
silly.
Met Silent Hill 4, rather?
Wait, what?
You mean like what they did for Silent Hill 4?
Yeah, but you know, I did like Lords of Shadow. I know it's an unpopular opinion in some
The
people's
first one or the
eyes.
second one?
Both of them actually. I didn't like the
Oh,
first one as much as the second one.
I see.
The second one was kind of cool because you got to be Dracula, and it was really interesting. And if you played, well, actually, that's technically the third one. I played all 3. If you played the one that was in the middle, you got a lot more details as to what was going on in the second one.
Well, there's a third one.
I'll be right
Yeah,
back, guys.
there was the one on DS that they made an HD reboot. Okay, he left. That they made an HD remake for on PS3, and it
Uh-huh.
actually explains
Mirror of
what
Destiny or
happened.
something?
What?
I think it was like Mirror of Destiny or something. I knew it
Yeah,
was both mirrors.
something near. It was really good though.
Yeah.
It was a 2D side-scrolling one, and it was pretty cool, and I liked that one. And it explained what was going on. And I feel like if I hadn't played that one, I probably would have not liked 2 at all.
Uh-huh.
But I liked 2 because I played that one. I understood the motivations behind all the characters.
Mhm.
You know?
I guess, but I still do see that it would have been better served if it was a new franchise altogether. So it would give the writers more free reign to explore new concepts and
Yeah.
ideas instead of being restricted to the Castlevania palette, so to speak.
Well, they didn't really have to be that restricted because it was completely different. It was a complete reboot of the story.
Yeah,
And
but then again, you can only go so far with reboot. I mean, a reboot
that's
is
true.
still like tied to the franchise in some ways.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree with that, but I don't think it was necessarily a bad reboot. I feel like there are far worse things out there that are reboots that are way worse than that.
Yeah. Well, on to another topic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Going through this list, I believe. Is there anything I missed?
You might have.
Lewd stuff? Lewd gamer stuff, I guess.
No, I'm not even done with the NicheGamer one.
You did the niche
Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory 2 coming to the West early next year.
This is gonna
Nice.
astonish everyone in here because I'm apparently the group weeb. I've only played one Hyperdimension Neptunia game, enjoyed it, but did not play any others, solely on the fact that I had other things to buy and play.
Well, that is fair. I mean,
I've
you
only
can-
played one. myself.
you can like really.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's not a bad game. It's funny. It has some moments of humor to it, which I enjoy and I can appreciate.
Hmm. I own the
The
first
idea
game, but
behind it, where they're all representative of different systems, is pretty interesting.
yeah, I own the first game, but I haven't like really played it, so I might need to like go to it and more depth later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
I'm glad that the one thing that I'm glad that they keep porting their games to the West because they do well. I mean, that says a lot for their integrity.
Yep. At least it's not Idea Factory. Oh god, at least it's not Idea Factory.
They do make abysmal ports onto PC.
No, it's not just abysmal ports. It's that they take the best ideas for a video game and turn it into one of the most boring grindfests ever.
It's true.
Like Record of Agarest War is especially dire in that regard.
But now a lot of people do like Record of Agarest 4.
You do know
Uh,
that the Hyperdimension Dementia series is developed by both Compile Heart and Idea Factory, right?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I don't have a problem with games that are grindy, per se. I can deal with it. I mean, I played the original Final Fantasy, and I do mean the original Final Fantasy. That is a grind fest and a half. You were literally just
Talking about
wandering
the
around.
original or the GBA original?
The original.
Yeah, the GBA kind of cut it down a little bit by.
Yeah, I have the
it's
original on NES, and it is a grind fest. Of that game's probably about 8-hour playtime, 6.5 hours of it is just grinding. The other part is walking from place to place, and then the last 30 minutes is the boss battles.
Yeah, this is actually kind of why I put down the SNES version of Breath of Fire 2 after a while, because it is way too grindy for me.
Oh god, you what?
Yeah.
Come on, Val, you
Okay.
gotta. It's so good. You guys, killing me.
By the way,
It really isn't
PS4
worth
doing
it.
the new PS4 did a new firmware update. Added
Did it?
YouTube streaming
Yay!
and 10 gigabytes of online storage.
Time to update my PS4.
You
Yep.
know, that is actually a very, very good thing, because the fact that a lot of the console inbuilt streaming service is tied to Twitch, right, kind of gives Twitch a monopoly over the game streaming market. So the fact that PS3 is opening up to YouTube, right, makes YouTube as a viable competitor as a gaming streaming service.
PS4
Here's another problem I'm having right now. There is like, actually, it doesn't look like it's been applied yet. Are you guys sure it's already been updated? Because my PS4 right now is System Software version 2.57.
Oh, sorry, I was wrong.
You got me all
It's coming
hyped.
soon. Along with the patch, they will be doing other features, including an event hub for in-game events, WEXP special enemies, stickers for messaging, sharing video clips for Twitter, ability to create communities, a requests feature to watch friends' gameplay, improvements to live from PlayStation, and what's new.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, it's also nice that they up the online storage from 1 gigabyte to 10.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because 1 gigabyte's freaking nothing.
Yeah. So
Like,
basically,
look how
that's
big the save files for a PS4 game are almost like 50 megabytes. It's like, how am I going to save this? I can't.
use a floppy disk.
Oh my god.
50 floppy disks. Just hot swap them.
Thank
Did
you.
you guys ever see that picture of the Windows 8 on floppy disks?
No, I haven't.
It was
I
like
think I have.
3,000 floppy disks.
That is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was like official too. It was like some like, I think it was like Chinese or something. There was some sort of text on them.
Mhm.
I think it was in Chinese, and it was just like,
I wouldn't be surprised, because I recently found a copy of Half-Life 2 Game of the Year edition, right, on 3 CDs, like not DVDs, CDs.
Huh.
the things that you find living in like that area is so funny to me.
Yeah. And here's the thing is, I'm actually kind of disappointed because I was really hoping to find some sort of weird bootleg version of Half-Life 2 with some sort of third-party mod, like
Was it an
pre-installed.
actual Half-Life 2 though on CDs?
Like an actual Half-Life 2 leaked copy with, some sort of weird other like 3D model assets or something.
Mm-hmm. What was it? Was it actual Half-Life 2?
Yep.
Oh my god. I mean, I edged my seat there for a second.
So,
You
yeah,
were
we can't
hoping
seem to
like
stop
for
talking about Nintendo as well. Because Mega Man Battle Network 5 comes to the Virtual Console.
Oh, it does?
Yep, for the Wii U.
Out of curiosity, how many
so-
Mega Man EXE games have they made so far?
Mega Man
Oh,
what?
and Battle Network? Yeah, they made a,
Mega
a
Man
few.
EXE.
EXE? Oh, yeah, because that was the
Mega
name
Man
of the
Battle
anime and the
Network.
manga involved. Yeah. They made a bunch. They made like 7, I think.
Oh.
And then another spin-off from it.
Yeah, then a
Called
spin-off
Star
on the
whatever.
GameCube. There's a platformer.
No, I mean like another series that was based off of it.
But yeah, they made Battle Network. They made like 5 of them, and they made another series that was something else that was based off of it.
Fighters or something.
They made like 3 or 4 of those, and then they made the spin-off Battle Network on GameCube that was like platformer.
That one sucked simply because it was overall heavily difficult.
It was too much. It was like, this is too much. And normally I don't have a problem with hard games. I love hard games. I love them. But
So,
like,
would you say it is Kaizo Mario level?
I wouldn't go that far. But it was pretty
Or
hard.
I
It was,
wanna
like,
be
it
that
was
level.
unfairly hard, I would say.
It was still very much. Oh, you moved 1 pixel on the wrong spot. You just fucked your whole fight up.
Oh,
Yep.
that is kind of bullshit in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a lot of like, if you fuck up a fight, you have to start over, and you have to just keep trying shit until something works.
oh
and of
boy.
course, it actually had limited lives and no continues.
Uh-huh.
Oh god, limited lives. Fucking hell.
That's like the worst thing ever. So have you guys seen that new game that kind of looks like Custom Robo that's on 3DS now?
No,
It looks kind of cool.
man. Well, speaking of robots, there's a new game for this coming to. I want to say it was Steam. Yes, Steam Early Access, called Conflicts: Revolutionary Space Battles and Alternate History Sci-Fi RTS with Chickens.
That seems ridiculous.
That is the full title.
Wow.
Is it an
main
actual
concept
RTS
is-
of chickens?
Yes. It is a RTS where you flick your spaceships and whatnot all around for them to fight or go explode and whatnot.
Oh,
or-
okay. This definitely sounds like a tablet port.
No, it is straight from PC only.
That's
It's
so
not
weird because
That is
wait,
so weird because like flicking, right? Flicking implies like tablet controls.
Yeah, you would think that, but no.
it's so weird. I wonder what they mean by flick.
Yeah, this reminds me
You
of
click on it and you pull back and boom,
That's so
Yeah.
and
weird.
then it goes flying and it either explodes and explodes the thing or whatever or attacks. And there's heavily a lot of chicken-themed ships and planets and space areas. And the
I know, honestly, that
trailer,
seems pretty awesome.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if this is just something that my friends did when we were bored, but if we were bored and we had no game of any kind except a sheet of paper and a pencil, we would play this game where we would each draw up the same units on each side of the paper, and then we'd put our finger on the top of the pencil and the point on one of the units, and we'd declare if we were moving or shooting. And then we'd push down on the top of the pencil, and it would shoot out, and it would draw a little line on the paper. because of the pressure on the top. And that would be your move or your shot. And then we'd
Oh, God,
stage
I
little
used to play
battles.
that. I
Yeah.
used to play things like that at school.
It was one of those games that was somewhat necessitated out of boredom. The way that you move your units in this looks somewhat similar to that.
That's pretty awesome.
And part of the description is, okay, sci-fi futuristic European Renaissance of 1794 Musketeers era.
That's an
With
awesome
chickens.
combination.
With chickens.
Yeah, my
Amazing.
friends and I used to play those, not the hero clicks, but the ones that came before those that were like robots, and it was really like, I think it was in the Warhammer universe, and I think it was Warhammer 40k, but it was kind of the same concept. You had a big game board, and you had to like destroy the players' units, and each unit had its own firing range. It was really interesting. It's cool.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. What now?
We
Oh,
can
yeah.
talk about another study on video games, if you want.
Which one are we talking about?
Be aggressive. Recent APA video game study on violence fails to find anything.
Didn't
Wow.
they just have a study on video game and they're like, yeah, we couldn't find anything? They had
Again,
another one?
they've been doing multiples of these throughout the years.
Basically, what this makes me think is that the effect is basically imperceptible if it exists at all. If one study can find it and then another one can't, and then another one can, and then another one can't, what are we showing? We're showing that it's not repeatable.
Exactly.
And the other thing is, you will see a linguistic trick used by people who try to use these studies to make predictions about the state of society or whatever, where they will confuse the concept of temporary aggression and violence. Aggression isn't violence, and aggression is something that people get from just about any competitive activity that they engage in. You can get aggressive from participating in a game jam. I mean, you will get aggression from that. You'll get aggression from sports. You'll get aggression from anything that's competitive. Doesn't mean you're going to hit someone.
Well,
Would you get
and I have to say
from
this though.
Wendy?
And I have to say this though. Actual sports have incited far more violence than video games ever would.
Yes.
You mean like the one time a Canadian hockey team lost to an American team and the whole town rioted?
Yes. Riots
Or
over
the
sports
soccer
happen. But I tend to blame that more on factionalism than like the actual sport doing it.
Yep.
It's not necessarily what goes on in the game, because it's rarely the players that are actually doing the rioting. It's mostly the group dynamics that form around the game that cause people to go crazy after their team loses or wins.
And how come we don't see this after like esports matches?
I don't know. Maybe because gamers are a little bit more chilled out, or they say, "Yeah, I'm gonna take my aggression out on Call of Duty," or I don't know, God of War, Hatred, Mortal Kombat.
Well, I don't know. I can only
I don't know.
speculate, but
Yeah.
if I had to take a random
Or
stab at it,
eat 'em.
What was that?
if I had to take a random stab at it, I'd just say because you don't have generations with faith in an esports team, and I don't think you ever will, because esports teams seem to change too often. But when it comes to like, if you're a fan of a sports team, especially soccer or football, if you're outside the U.S., I guess, you could actually have generations of people who have followed the same team, and it becomes like a family thing, and then a group thing, and then almost like a cultural identifier. I don't think we'll ever see that with esports because what game is hot changes too often, and what teams are good and what the team makeup is changes too often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I say that's it for the NicheGamer. Time for the small lewdgamer session. Oh, I forgot to mention this last time. Honeypop do a new game called
Honeycam.
Studio. Yep.
I
Yeah, what is interesting
go on.
about this game is that the art style is wildly different from the last one.
Yes,
This
it is.
one's mimicking that Kim Kardashian game.
Yeah.
Is-
And it is going to alienate a lot of the fans of the original, because the fans of the original are really, really attached to the original game's art style. And this, let me take a look if I remember correctly. This game's art style seems to be a lot more, have a lot more different quality. Seems to have a lot more pop kind of cartoon kind of quality than anime.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that
No,
is going
it's the same artist, apparently.
to alienate a lot of the fans of the original.
I only have really one problem with the game so far for the art, and that is every single girl's eyes is heart-shaped. Why are
Oh
they
my
all
god, I just
heart-shaped?
realized it.
You're right. Oh my god.
I just noticed it. Holy shit. And why is it white? Why is it white?
Yeah. The
don't
pupil,
know.
yeah, that maybe their insides of their heads are glowing.
Or maybe it's supposed to be like the specular reflection, but the way it's positioned makes it look more like the irises.
Yeah,
Or
well,
actually
there already
pupils.
is a specular reflection is the other thing that is
Yeah.
confusing me. Is
It
I
also
already see
throws me off.
yeah. Anyway, I'm actually looking forward to
Yo,
this
that bitch
because
blind.
I've said before, my favorite genre of game is the management sim style game.
Really?
And
Is that
so
even-
yes, yeah,
That's such a weird genre to be your favorite.
well, it's a little bit broader than that. Like I like the like SimCity or Tropico or games like that. I
I did enjoy Tropical.
oh yeah, I actually I've like played every single little scrap of content that existed before, and then I moved like immediately onto Tropico 5, and I was just like, I need to take a break from this. I need to go back to it though. But yeah, that's my favorite genre. So having a game like this come out, I'm actually somewhat looking forward to it, even though the art style is a little bit throwing me for a loop. I'm very interested to see what the reaction to it will be, because
Yeah.
as you said, the art style is very much in the vein of the Kim
Pop
Kardashian
cartoon.
Hollywood game. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah, there's already a poll that they sent to their fans asking, what do you think of the art style? And 90% of the votes were, please change it. Yeah. By the way, they also have new bios for the girls for this game, and
Yeah.
in case if you haven't checked them out, for one example, who remembers the Mega Bitch?
You mean the fairy?
no.
Mega Bitch.
What was it? What was her
Red
famous
Oh,
girl.
the chick that smokes? The chick that
Yes.
keeps asking you for smokes?
Yep. Because of your actions in the last game, she is now a full-time druggie.
Hmm.
Oh.
She-
So you basically fucked
she
her into
says that.
addiction. So
What?
you basically fucked her into addiction.
Yes.
I don't know what to think of that.
She
That is
opened
kind
up
of
to
fucked
you,
up.
and you betrayed her by fucking all the girls in Honey Pop.
Uh-huh.
You screwed her, and now she hates men, and is now addicted to coke.
Wow.
Wait a second. As if I remember correctly, right, you can also play as a woman in Honey Pop. So
Yes.
Yep.
That's interesting.
yeah, that's interesting because Like if you play as a woman and you actually like the story plays out the same way, right? Then it's not going to make that much sense that she hates men, unless you gave her such a good lay that she says, you know what, men suck. I'm into women now.
Full-time lesbian.
Yep. FTL.
And that's how lesbians are born now. What is this?
Yeah. Next thing from lewdgamer. Witcher 100 Nights Revival. Japanese demo available.
PS4.
Yep.
Yeah,
It is a
cursory
HD
glance.
re-release of Witcher 100 Night.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited
And
about that.
let's just see. A cursory glance at the game, right? It seems like it is a Diablo-like game, right? Is it?
No, it's more like
It's an action RPG.
yeah, it's an action RPG kind of, but yeah, it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah. Well, forgive me for being
Made by the
ignorant, but
same
what is actually
developers.
lewd about this game?
What was that?
What is
I'm sorry.
lewd about the original version of the game?
There's lots of giant tits everywhere. It's made
Oh.
by NAS, so
Oh, so basically it's just tits everywhere and nothing else.
it's a lot of tits and sex jokes probably. Too. I remember there being a couple sex jokes, but I didn't beat it. I got pretty
Uh-huh.
good in it, but like yeah,
I need to beat it myself.
I do too. It was
So basically it's just raunchy without getting to the point where actual sex is involved.
Well, that's the thing is that lewdgamer tends to cover all the games that other publications won't cover, and being raunchy has gotten to the point where it is a criteria upon which certain publications will ban games.
Uh-huh.
So, so I'm glad that
Well,
they're
I'm not
covering
saying
it.
that it shouldn't be covered by lewdgamer, but it's kind of like interesting that a game that is lewd and raunchy has the control, has like the self-control to not like delve into sex itself.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's kind of it's raunchy, but it's not like outright just. It's not like you're looking at like a vagina getting raped by a tentacle monster. It's just
Yeah.
just raunchy.
Yeah, and
It's
for a
just
Japanese
raunchy
game,
in a humorous way. I don't understand why people are getting butt mad about it. It just seems like
I just kind
raunchy.
of find it surprising that a game like this exists from a Japanese developer.
Like say that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there are genres of manga and animated stuff that fall into that line as well of being raunchy but not explicit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but those aren't that common, is it?
Fair point.
Either way, it was a fun game. I need to finish it.
Uh,
And yeah,
are you looking forward to the PS4 version?
I don't have a PS4, so I can't comment on that.
I would like it.
apparently-
I would definitely get it when it comes on PS4.
Final thing from lewdgamer.
Yeah, but anyway, if you have an account for the Japanese region of the PlayStation Network, right, you can download a demo of the enhanced PS4 version of this game right now.
Yep.
And the full release will come out on the 25th of September later this year. And while there has been no official announcement for the West, the game has been rated in Germany. So that means that a Western release is almost guaranteed, but there's no announcement of when. So
Yeah.
hold on to your tits.
Speaking of tits, new visual novel ecchi game. Winged Cloud's newest ecchi visual novel.
Sakura Swim Club.
Sakurai. Yep. Lands on Greenlight.
Let me take a look at this.
Yeah.
Boobs. Lots
Yeah,
and lots
from
of
the
boobs.
title alone, I would assume that it involves a swimming pool of some
It
sort.
involves Japanese schoolgirl swim team.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Schoolgirl swim uniforms.
Yeah.
looks like you have to turn a failing swim club around into a successful one.
Yep.
Yep.
With panty shots. Lots and lots of panty shots.
Lots
Hey.
of paint shots.
Do they have like boob physics like Nicopara?
It's a visual novel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they've actually managed to get 2D boob physics to work now in some games.
That's
Oh yeah, that's
awesome.
right. I've heard
That is
about
actually a thing. I actually saw like a friend play Sakura no, Nicopara, and there's plenty of jiggling boobs in that game, despite it being a visual novel, which is kind of pretty awesome, I guess.
Yeah,
Technology marches on.
exactly.
And somewhere there is a blue bitching about
Mhm.
boob physics.
Yeah, somewhere,
Yeah.
someone with blue hair
Mm.
dreaming about this.
Yeah, and it actually makes a lot of sense if this game were to have like boob physics, 2D boob physics, because we're talking about well endowed ladies in very very tight swimsuits. There is not going to be much like stiff support going on in the outfits.
Yeah, and doing
Stiff
very,
Especially in
support.
very,
that one bunny girl outfit.
Yep.
yeah, they're doing very strenuous physical activity too.
Hmm. I'm surprised that that outfit actually held on to her. Yeah, that outfit looks like it would like fall off her that like the top of her corset, right? Looks like it would just like flop off her tits at any moment.
Must be a lot of gaffer tape.
Yep. I imagine that
Uh,
would chafe a lot.
Ooh.
well, no, that's it for lewdgamer, and but we don't have much in terms of furry news, but so we can talk about furry games.
Actually,
Armello.
there's one I've heard about that I bet nobody else here has seen.
What?
It's a
Oh,
furry game.
show it off. I'm
No,
pretty
it's.
curious.
Let me see if I can find the title. I remember I saw a brief thing on it. There was like one trailer. It was at PAX at the Sony booth. Um, and it's
Are
called
you talking
Stories: The Hidden Path.
Stories: The Hidden Path?
And I'm obviously biased because one of the main characters is the bunny,
Nice.
and there's a fox, and it looks really good. It's like an action RPG with really cool story. It has a really interesting storytelling system, supposedly. And it looks really, really nice.
What's this called?
Stories: The
Stories.
Hidden Path.
Yeah.
Here, I'll
Yeah.
actually link it. Y'all can see it. Bloop. There it is. And it
Ah,
actually
I
looks
see
freaking really cool.
I see a fox with a eye patch, and he's a swordsman, and he's pointing.
He's a Sky Pirate.
He's a sky pirate of magic, apparently.
Sky Corsair.
Oh, wow. I like the art style.
Yeah,
I
I
know,
do too.
it's so cute!
Let me take a look. Sorry, I was distracted by my fiance. Let me take a look at
I
this.
want this game. It's so cute. I need it to
Ooh,
be out.
nice.
And they haven't released it
Oh.
yet.
Just by looking at the thumbnail for the trailer, right? The art style is already looking pretty good.
Look at the little characters. They're so
Yeah.
adorable.
Wow, that's pretty nice. It's a traditional action RPG, right? So does that
Supposedly,
mean?
but it has some sort of interesting storytelling mechanic that they're kind of keeping a little bit hidden.
Uh, so by action RPG, right? Do they mean like hack and slash, like a Gauntlet, or do they mean like Diablo, where there's
It
like
supposedly
lots of
is more
loot?
like Gauntlet.
Yeah,
It
it
looks
looks
more
more
like
like
it looks more like Gauntlet-y.
from the
More
50-second
like
trailer that they've put out so far.
yeah, the really good trailer, but like from what I'm hearing, it sounds like from everyone. I have a friend who actually hung out with the guys at PAX. It looks
Nice.
more like hack and slashy sort of.
You know, this is gonna give us even more reason to pick up a PS4. Yeah, I want to look at the trailer.
So, talk about another
Here
furry
still?
game. I wanted to
What?
talk about. I said talk about another furry game. Last week, I wanted to talk about Blade Kitten. I liked Blade Kitten. I don't know why everyone seems to hate it.
What game?
Blade Kitten.
I like Blake Kitten.
Grim just wanted
It's
to
not like a bad game. It just was kind of. It wasn't bad. It was just not amazing either.
Yeah.
It was just very,
Grim
very
just wanted
average.
to rip into this game heavily.
I don't understand why. I didn't have that much of a problem with it. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't. It was just very middling, which I guess is kind of a negative thing. You don't want your game to be super duper average feeling.
Yeah.
So what did I
have a
miss?
problem with it. Oh, we're just talking about stuff still.
Blade Kitten.
Blade Kitten.
Oh, Blade Kitten. Like that game is pretty much underrated, right? Like a lot of the reviews, like official reviews, slam this game.
I feel like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. It was just average.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it deserved to be slammed by any means. I just don't feel like it.
I
Was,
thought
I
it
don't
was
feel like it was
pretty
amazing,
good.
but it wasn't a bad game.
Apparently, Gremlin doesn't really like it.
Why not?
We'll
I
have
don't
to
know.
bring
He
it
just
up.
called it a bad game.
We'll have to bring it up when Grum's around so that we can
Yeah, I want to ask him about that now.
have a little bit of drama.
You know-
we can all fight about it because we're too in sync today. But yeah, we I remember playing that when I was younger. I didn't have much of a problem with it. I mean, I didn't think it was stellar. I was actually, I guess the reason I was at a letdown for me is because I was really hoping it would be like Ratchet and Clank because of the art style,
But it's not.
but it's not.
Oh, well.
And I was like, I felt almost cheated as a kid because it was recommended to me after I played Ratchet and Clank, and I was like, why would you do this to me, PlayStation? Which, of course, it's kind of hard to find solid recommendations for Ratchet and Clank because it's such a beast of its own.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I love that game. I love
By
those
the way,
games.
the creator of Blade
Yeah,
Kitten.
I would like to direct your attention to this video game. It's called Armello. Earlier today, I watched Jesse Cox. I watched Jesse Cox I played like the first hour of this game on Fan Friday, and it actually looks kind of interesting because it is not a game in a traditional video game sense. Instead, it is a very, very interactive board game and with a very interesting mechanics where the evil king, right, becomes weaker with every turn, but stuff around him becomes even more dangerous as he grows weaker.
Yeah, I actually have that game. It's very, very good.
Oh god.
You can play as all sorts of little.
recommendation.
What?
There's a Kotaku recommendation in the trailer.
Oh no. But no, it's a good game.
It's
It's a good game. It's like
No,
I mean-
it's actually
well, I feel
funny
like-
because the selection of curators that I have makes for some very interesting recommendations that pop up in the curator list every time I check it out on Steam.
mine is like I have like Waifu Hunter and Bro Team, and that's fucking it. Just 'cause I like to watch the awful things they say. They're completely wrong every time
Oh
a
my
game
God.
shows up. Like when Batman got pulled off Steam, Bro Team changes like curator review, and it said, "Haha, now you can't play Batman. You have to look at Batman."
Okay,
So,
I need to follow
Chris,
Bro Team.
So Chris, tell us
makes
more
some
about
funny things.
Armello.
Armello. So Armello is yeah, it is a very interactive board game. The king is sick with this evil disease, and every turn the disease progresses in him and makes him die, and the disease takes over. And as he dies, the map changes and demons start appearing. The other players are all from various dukes and duchies that want to take the throne. If you're favored by the end, or if you take the throne by force, you win. There you go. That's in a nutshell, but there's a lot more going on than that. There's different cards and things you can use, and different favors you can call into your advantage, and different spaces on the board that you can control that make it easier or harder to win the game. It's pretty cool.
Cure the king of his disease.
No, it's whoever is going to become the new king or queen.
So, when it comes to interactive board games, I've played physical board games like the Arkham Horror or whatever that takes so long to set up and tear down that I see the value in this type of thing. Because if you can make a game that has systems and mechanics that are so complicated that actually playing it in physical form becomes impractical, then having the ability to create these interactive tabletop games that are actually only virtual is going to be really useful for the genre. I mean, it's going to enable more complicated games to be made just through the simple fact that you can make a game that has extremely complicated setup be instant.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair though, those overcomplicated physical board games are pretty much designed for a whole night of gaming. Like
Yes.
not just
Yeah.
like a 1 or 2 hour session, but a whole night.
Mhm.
So I
Yes.
think it's only fair that they set it up like that way.
Yep.
I remember one Arkham Horror game I did lasted 5 hours. It was
5 hours, that is actually kind of short for a elaborate board game, to be honest.
Yep.
What was it? I was on my way home from the holidays, and I stopped at a friend's place, and they're like, let's play a board game. I was like, okay, what board games do we have? We didn't have any. So I had actually gotten Arkham Horror as a present. So I was like, hey, let's play this!
And everyone's like, I hate you at 3 in the morning. Why are you doing this to me?
So we
So,
get to spend an entire day and night just to set up and play the game. Play
and
one
we'd never
round.
played it before, so we were also operating completely from scratch when it came to the rules.
God damn it! I hate when that happens.
But it actually worked somewhat.
This kind of doing something. This friend and I, we bought. We were walking because we like thought this Chinese restaurant we were going to was within walking distance. Turned out it wasn't. We walked for almost an hour to get to it. At which point I was like, why did we do that? We could have just turned around about halfway. But I'm a stubborn ass, so I was like, no, we gotta keep going. We're almost there. I swear it has to be close by. Anyway, once we got to the Chinese restaurant, we noticed that there was a store right next to it that sold tabletop games and board games and tabletop accessories and stuff.
Mhm.
And we picked up one tabletop game, which was just a simple board game. And according to the back of the box, it took about 30 minutes to set up, an hour to play. That box lied its ass off and it knew it. Because when we got home, it took us over an hour to set up and almost 3 hours to complete the game. And we weren't even done. We just gave up and just made out, and that was the end of the night. Like, we're like, this is boring. Can we stop? My God, it took too long. And I understand the plight of the first time you play a game, you don't know the rules, so you just gotta kind of go along with them and keep opening the book. It's very
Look at the
annoying.
pamphlets.
Yeah, look at the pamphlets.
Well, to be fair, at least it's not.
Just this one thing that I'm wondering. Go back to the book. Look at the book. Go to page 5. The reference to page 12. The references page 6. The references page 22. And there, you have your overcomplicated board game.
Well, to be fair, it is not as bad as D&D 4th edition, where you can be spending like 5 hours on just one fight.
Yeah. Well, at least with D&D, you're operating under the assumption that your DM has studied everything and knows all the rules. You hope.
Jimmy, roll the dice. I got a 12. You impale yourself with your own sword.
You shouldn't have used a sword, Jimmy. You are a cleric. Stop doing that. Jimmy, you need to go die because you don't know this game.
Here, go play this.
There was like that one time when I was like rolling for all of these awful things. Like every time we played Shadowrun, I would just give I had this character, this one particular character, who had like retarded charisma. Like retarded levels of charisma. Like
So basically, he's Johnny Bravo.
No, but he could actually get the lady. So this is really funny because we walk into like a hotel, right? And it's like, okay, so we're at like this small hotel, It's pretty nice, and you know the guys up on the higher floor. You want to be able to get into the room to save the girl without letting everyone know that that's what you're doing. How are you going to do it? And my one friend is like, okay, I'm going to play the saxophone over on that table and like get everyone away from the lobby. I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, and I'm going to try and fuck the bellhop. And they're like, Chris, why do you always have to fuck somebody to get the key? I'm like, 'cause it's really easy. And I rolled regardless, I was going to pass the roll, and I got a natural 20, and it was like, oh my god, it was great. It was great.
I did have a campaign once where someone got poisoned. They opened a trapped chest because they decided that they would do a better job than our thief would at opening a trapped chest. They got poisoned, and we actually had our priest pray for divine intervention because we didn't have any antidotes or anything like that. And he rolled successfully.
I love it.
So the poison. Yes.
I love tabletop stories.
And what happened with the poison then?
Our I forget if it was a priest, cleric, or what. He prayed for divine intervention and rolled successfully. Saved him from the poison.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Another really
comes from the skies, stands before the poison.
Jesus comes down, he throws some water on you.
Well, he was actually a dwarf, so it was some, I don't know. It was
Didn't make any sense.
It was some very bizarre religion that he was following.
My favorite thing was when my friend was a dungeon master, and we stayed up really for a few hours one night, thinking of the most obnoxious, hard to kill monster for everyone in the party but me. Because I was like a necromancer, so I had some magic abilities, and everyone else.
And this is why playing tabletop games and actual physical versions of board games is superior in some aspect, because there really is no prediction of what could happen, and there's no way for a computer game version of that could account for the possibility space that the rules actually offers. Like for example, a friend plays a Malkavian in a World of Darkness game, right? And you know what he did? He pretty much intimidated a mailbox into opening for him.
Oh yeah, it's so. I love Malkavians. They're so fucking crazy. Yeah. But no. So anyway, so he ended up. Here was what we ended up making, and anyone who's played D&D will understand why this is the most evil, vile thing you can do. Giant flying stone dwarfs.
Evil person.
Yep. So they're giant, but they're also dwarfs. So they get double different. Okay, so it was really bizarre. So they're flying, so you can't hit them with melee weapons. They're stone, so arrows don't do jack shit to them. They're giant, so they have a lot of health. And they're dwarfs, so they have a higher evasion rate. So all this shit's going on. The rest of my party's like, I don't know what's happening. How did he come up with this? And I just ended up magic missiling it to death, and everyone's like, "Go, Chris!" And I'm like, "Yes, go me!" Winks at the dungeon master.
Can't you use Thunderbolt to split the golems?
No, that's what I did, but no one else in my party was a magic user. I was the only one.
And you was a necromancer.
Yeah, I was a necromancer, so I could do all the dark magics.
So basically, he made monsters that only you could defeat.
That only I could kill it. Yes.
Yeah. Is he actually hitting on you?
To protect you?
No, we were just best buddies, and we were just wanting to fuck with the whole party.
That was funny.
It was dude, there are some great things that come of these situations. I mean, tabletop games are so fun because all your friends just fuck with each other at the end of the night.
Yeah. And it gives you infinite freedom to create new stuff and pull stuff out of your ass.
Yeah. There was this God, there's a bunch of things. I could go on all night about these, but yeah.
So I guess that while it is nice that there are computer versions of board games out there, right? I do think that there is still a place in the world for physical versions of board games, because it's the human element that always keeps the experience alive.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it will be interesting to see how both branches develop, because I think that Well, I mean, if you really think about it, Civ is kind of what I'm talking about.
A board game?
You could actually make a game with that is physical with exactly the same set of rules that any version of Civ has. It would just be
Uh,
so cumbersome that you would never actually want to play it.
Are you talking about
yeah,
Civilization?
pretty much
board
all
game?
4X games are like that, though.
Yeah, well, there is a
Turn-based 4X
Civilization
games.
board game, but it's not Civilization exactly. It
Well, there is exactly the board game.
really?
Heavy rules.
Wow.
And it. Okay, yeah, I've been told of games that last from dawn to dusk, and it's still not over.
My gosh.
I remember. Okay, so Pathfinder is another interesting beast because it's basically D&D, but you can be as fucking crazy as you want.
Uh-huh.
And my friend, after we watched Tigtone, the beginning of Tigtone, which is a very, very funny Flash animation that everyone should watch, because most people from Red Letter Media were actually involved in it.
Yeah,
I
I've
did
seen
voice
that.
act. It's really funny. He made basically a Tigtone character, which nobody else but me in the Pathfinder group or any of the groups in the room had seen that, but me and him. So everyone was super confused when he took he took a bunch of weird abilities for like a standard like warrior or like adventurer, and
Did
he
he
made
talk
a
like Tigtone too?
yes, and he made a
Oh my
chair his familiar, and he would just throw it at people. Which I thought was really funny because I just he has like a
hang on. Are they like regular wooden chairs, or are they like various chairs, like wheelchairs?
no, he had like a wooden chair that was his familiar, and he like threw it at people.
It would be pretty
Okay.
funny if they were like wheelchairs and they end up crippling his enemies.
That would be very well. He fucked people up with that chair. I don't know why that chair worked so well to his advantage, but it worked pretty well. He didn't die, which was a shocking thing to me.
My
I was
God.
like, how are you lasting this long? You're fucking Tigtone. And our dungeon master was like, "Oh my god, I hate all of you. Who is Tigtone?" And I'm like, "Y'all watch the video, man. Go watch it after this."
You know, you could actually make a comic out of that character.
I love Tigtone. I think they need to make the second one already because they have been releasing little itty bitty things, but the second one still hasn't come out, and I really want it to because I love that. I love the first one.
It looks really time consuming how they make it because they
It
do
really
that.
is.
They do that like funky half rotoscoping, half whatever. I don't. It makes for a really interesting effect. Like the
It's
cool
really
thing is
weird.
the aesthetic matches the story so well because the technique produces something that's slightly uncanny valley territory,
hmm
but that's
Yeah.
perfect for TikTok because that's what you want it to look like.
hmm I like how at the very, very end of the first episode he just goes like, "Don't destroy me or my entire civilization," and Tigtone just goes, "Too late," and then he waits for 5 years so he can summon his animal again.
Yes.
Yeah, and he waits for like 5 fucking years and then summons the animal again, plays his flute and his piccolo and his lute, and just like it's so funny. I love it. I love Red Letter Media in general, though.
Speaking of board games that
Yeah.
I do enjoy, but I rarely ever get to really play this. It's a board game that I own, and almost everyone's intimidated by it simply because the massive scope and how long it takes to set up.
hmm
The board game is Super Dungeon Explorer.
Uh-huh.
I have never actually played that.
You've never played it?
Nope.
Think old retro style Japanese dungeon crawling games in the form
Oh
of
lord,
yeah.
that sounds crazy.
Okay, the overall theme is your heroes. You're in a dungeon crawl, and there are monster spawn points that constantly spawn out monsters. All the monsters are up and out to begin with, save for mini bosses and bosses. And every turn it goes like this: hero, all the monsters. Hero, all the monsters. Now, when
That
I mean
sounds
hero,
terrifying.
I mean individual heroes.
Oh no.
Now, it's not 100% too bad because all the monsters, save for the elites, have 1 HP. So they're all cannon fodder. And they all have very piss poor accuracy. The elites, you cannot take one out by yourself unless you are fully decked out with the treasures in the game. The heroes range from a sorceress, a steampunk hunter, a druid, a female barbarian, a wannabe princess-looking peach girl, an elf huntress lady, an assassin cat girl.
Oh,
A
did you say cat girl?
demon rogue. Yeah.
You said the magic words.
Her name is 99.
99.
That's
What game is
adorable.
this, by the way?
Super Dungeon Explorer.
Oh yes.
Here, let me get up a picture of her.
Now we wait. Silence.
While we wait, let's
So-
see.
You know what's a good like PSP game that I feel like should have gotten a PS Vita thing too, or at least some continuation was Dungeon. It was called Dungeon Maker.
Uh-huh.
I love those games. They were fun.
Oh, so it is
basically
like
made your-
RPG Maker, right? But with dungeon
No,
crawling.
but you would make your dungeon, okay, and then you
Yeah.
would wait for monsters to go into it, and then you would go in and with the traps and your weapon and magic, you would destroy the monsters that went into your dungeon to keep them away from the town.
I
She's
see.
a little
Shot.
cat girl.
And this is a painted version of the model. All the models come unpainted.
Oh.
I'm not that good at painting things.
She
Well,
actually
yeah.
looks a lot like Felicia.
Yeah, I was about
Because
to say that.
That person painted it like Felicia.
Oh.
But yeah, I can show you the bots art if you like instead.
Yeah, do that.
It's kind of cute though.
Are they
Yeah.
plastic models or metal models?
Plastic.
It still looks pretty nice for a thing.
Yeah, well, plastic can
thing.
actually be pretty good in quality. Like, the plastic can be ranged from really good quality to very, very crappy quality. Like, the good quality plastics are usually like resin.
Yin yin.
Yin yin.
There's the assassin cat girl. Bots art.
You're an assassin cat girl.
Uh-huh.
That would
That's
imply-
adorable.
Yeah.
That's super
You're
adorable.
adorable.
You keep telling me I'm adorable.
And
I
I
don't know
can't
how
tell
to
me
react
your
to
voice
that.
is really, really cute.
Aw, well, thank you.
No problem.
They recently released a expansion to the first game.
We should spend the rest of the stream complimenting each other. See this? Okay.
Here's what the original game bots looks like.
Oh. Let's see. Yeah,
This is
that very
adorable.
much
This is
looks
so
like...
adorable.
Yeah, this very much looks like it is made, the art like is made by a Japanese artist who has done lots of manga.
This is so cute.
Because the style really reminds me of something
The
out of a
company
manga.
that makes this is Solopop Miniatures. They used to be published by Cool Mini or Not. By Cool or Not Mini, rather. And that dwarf you see that's being chased by the mimic, they call those booty boxes.
That's adorable. Why is this game
What?
so adorable?
Booty what?
Booty boxes.
Booty boxes. Oh god.
Does it bite your butt?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
There
Yeah, that's
is
pretty cute.
That is
there is one
adorable.
common complaint that is it takes a while to set up and it takes even longer to finish because they say on the bots the average playtime is 2 hours.
It's a lie.
Yeah, it is a big lie.
How long is it usually?
My game ended in 4. My first time playing it. And mind you, it was also the first time everyone was playing it.
You know what's a pretty cool thing is Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I
because
actually
that they upped the price during the last summer sale, and
You know what?
it went on sale.
They need to, because that game is amazing, especially with the amount of stuff that's on the workshop library that people have made for it. You can
Well,
make
I have to say that it
anything.
is not actually a tabletop simulator, but a simulation of something that could be a game.
No, I wouldn't say that. You can straight up play tabletop games on it.
Yeah,
Or you can
but you
just
have
fuck
but
around.
yeah, but the tabletop games is the game part, not the simulator.
I'm confused.
It's kind of like RPG Maker.
Well, no, not really,
really.
because I mean, you can play with other people and play the actual tabletop games. Like, you don't have to make them. You can.
I know, but you can play other people's like tabletop games. That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I taught someone how to play poker because they'd never played it before, using that thing because
It's
we weren't
very
in close
good.
proximity. The only issue that I would have with it is that it makes it very difficult for you to sort your hands if you need a game that needs to have your hands sorted.
Oh, they have a thing that solved that now.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, basically the thing, you put them at the edge of the table by you, and no one else can see them if you block them.
Yeah. You know what I find interesting is that there's also like a recreation of Cards Against Humanity on Tabletop Simulator, and it handles really awkwardly with hilarious results.
And I like
I usually when I want to play
hard.
Cards Against Humanity online, I just go to Pretend You're Zizzy or whatever.
Pretend You're Zizzy, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good for me.
Yeah. I go to that as well. And by the way, the community for that board game is insane. Here is a custom dungeon tile setup that someone made. Let me just link it really quick. There you go.
Speaking of dungeons, I've recently picked up the game called Fight the Dragon, and it is actually quite a lot of fun because a big part of the game is about creating and sharing your own adventures, and it contains an adventure game kit where you can like build your own dungeons and share them online, like add monsters and stuff. It's actually pretty cool.
Wow, you can tell that this is made by a company that does miniatures. Wow.
Now this is a customly made one.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say this is crazy detailed.
Their actual tiles are nothing like that. Here, let me show you their standard tiles that come with the first game.
That's pretty expansive to set up, it seems.
Yeah.
That's the custom one. I was saying that's how crazy the community is for this game. And here's the base normal kind of ones. I just now linked.
Wow, that actually looks pretty nice. Like this actually looks like something you would see in a gauntlet style like dungeon crawler / hack and slash game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And every dungeon tile is double-sided. So there's a different design on the back as well.
Nice.
They have a rule set up for how many players you have, by how many tiles you use, and how many mini bosses and bosses.
In a way, I think that Fight the Dragon is kind of similar because they also have like a point system to determine like how much stuff you can add to your adventure, and the difficulty level of the adventure, right, is pretty much calculated automatically depending on the items you place, the chests you place, the traps you place, and the monsters that you place.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
See.
But yeah, I really love this board game and everything about it and how it looks, but I can barely ever get a chance to play it. Mainly because everyone around me is like, this board game is scary looking.
Wait,
Can't
how
we
the hell is
just
it
play
scary?
zombie dice instead?
Kota, you're gonna have to like speak up a little because you're very, very faint.
I don't know why.
Uh,
Let me mess with the...
mhm. But seriously, why would people find this game scary? It's not.
Simply because of all the extra things you gotta set up besides the tiles and the characters and the figures.
Oh, so they're talking about intimidating.
Yes, they need.
There is, let's see here, also 5 different boards worth of little round, what do you call them?
So do you remember Microsoft Surface, like that thing that was a giant multi-touch screen?
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do. It doesn't even have to be a screen. It could be a giant multi-touch surface that
Uh-huh.
you then plug Oculus Rifts into, and then you could instantly set up tabletop games.
So basically an augmented reality surface.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool, but extremely expensive. And I really don't trust Microsoft to be able to do that. Like,
No, I wouldn't trust Microsoft either. I was just using the Surface as an example of like the
yeah,
size of it.
if that's going
I
to
would
happen,
say
right?
they
The
probably
best
just
bet.
instead hand it off to the Minecraft studio they bought out.
Mm.
Uh,
In my opinion, right, if technology like that is ever going to happen, right, it would most likely be on Android or iOS.
well, I almost wonder if you could do it like as its own thing, like as a product,
Mhm.
and then license board games for it officially.
Yeah, that would be a nice way to print money, to be honest, and it's free of all of this pay-to-win crap, at least hopefully. So that is also a plus.
Yeah, pay to win doesn't really work that well when it comes to tabletop.
Like, pay $1 and you can drop in a giant unit to wreck enemies with. Yeah, that's not gonna work because that is the best way to have you to make you lose friends.
Yeah, that would not go over very well at all.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to drop $1 and I'm going to drop this giant fuck off ogre that is going to wipe out your party in one hit. Have fun.
Oh, I found another example of how crazy these people are in the community with making their own tiles.
You mean dedicated?
Dedicated.
Nah. Crazy implies that there's no purpose. Dedicated is definitely means that there's like some purpose.
Yes,
And the
they're very,
purpose
very
is to create
dedicated.
the
Look
most
at this one.
awesome tile sets ever. Holy shit, that is sick. Wait, is that actual water or is it like plastic?
It looks like it's some kind of resin or yeah.
It looks
Doesn't
like
look like-
resin.
Yeah. But they found something that's very transparent.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
actually pretty nice.
This was labeled "Gone Fishing"
Mm.
in the gallery. I have to say, if I could actually buy some of these tiles that these people make, I would love to play them all day.
Man, every time I make a video, I have to like zoom in and out in order to get all the screenshots the way that I want them on my. And now I'm visiting all these websites, and I'm just ending up with these totally bizarre zoom levels because I forgot to reset it.
I love it. It's great. I do that all the time.
You don't realize that there's a reset zoom button in the address bar, do you?
Control 0 is my favorite hotkey right now.
Control 0?
Yeah, Control 0 resets your zoom level.
Huh. I did not know that, because I do not know all the keyboard hotkeys, unlike the Macintosh.
Aren't you just gay?
Oh, that's okay, you're gayer. By far.
That's not true.
We're all gay here. Holy shit! Like I'm really like digging the tile sets in Daka Daka, the Daka Daka link.
Yeah.
Those are extremely nice.
Makes me wish that I was this creative and had this much money to just waste.
Well, if you had picked up like a copy of Fight the Dragon earlier this week, right? You could pretty much have an opportunity to do something kind of like that, since the adventure game kit, right, really reminds me of the stuff that you can do with Super Dungeon Explorer.
Man, I should pick up Fight the Dragon. I remember when I was younger, I used to love any game that would let me build stuff for other people to play. I used to make levels in Time Splitters 2 and make puzzles in, what was it, Lode Runner Mad Monk's Revenge?
I don't know.
Which is a game that no one remembers that ever existed.
You know, it's another game that no one ever existed that had that create your own custom levels.
What's that?
I should say this though.
Monster Rancher Explorer.
I have to say this though. If you're gonna get a Fight the Dragon, right, be sure to play with a friend, because the game is a lot better when you're playing it with a friend. Trust me. Like the loot gets better, the EXP payout gets a lot better.
I don't really know what this Fight the Dragon is.
Like when I played the Fight the Dragon in single player, right, all I got was really crap loot and very little EXP, right. But as soon as I started playing with a friend, right, we're getting like these legendary items all over the place, and we're pretty much like leveling up like really fast.
Nice.
Holy mackerel! The person who made Mad Monk's Revenge
That's you.
released it as freeware, and someone else bundled it up with a thing that allows it to run on Windows 7 and 8.
Oh. Well, it sounds like QuQu found what he's going to be doing for the rest of the weekend. Am I right?
Can you link it to us like later on so we can check it out later?
It's a really old game. It's a version of Lode Runner that had some. It had a level editor, and it had online play, which probably doesn't work anymore because I bet it used some ancient thing. But it also had.
Well, I think it probably uses IPX.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. It probably uses IPX. So good luck getting that working. But the really neat. It did feature two-player local co-op too, and it added a lot of tiles that were not in the original Lode Runners at all. So you could build some really elaborate stuff.
And would it be possible for us to like make this stuff and then share it with your friends to play through?
Yeah. It actually just saved it all in a file on your disk. There was an issue where if you made levels with multiple stages in them, that your save file would get corrupted for that level, but someone actually found out how to hex edit them back to being working again.
So now it all works. So let me check it out.
It's a really old game, though. I mean, I'm just talking about it because of nostalgia factor. Now it probably seems really really dated.
Oh wow, yeah. Daka Daka kind of crazy.
No screen. Are there any screenshots here? No, not really.
Daka Daka really dedicated. I mean, I know why they made that little arcade machine for that screenshot.
But yeah, I'm really liking the trend of video games that come with stuff to let you build your own stuff and share it online.
Yeah, because that was part
I
of
think-
the drawback back in the day. Like, if I made a level in Time Splitters 2, the only way that I could get it to anyone else was taking their memory card and copying it. And it took up a ton of blocks on your memory card.
Yep.
10!
Because I'm referring to them as blocks, you can probably tell that I played it on the GameCube.
Or the
They also
PlayStation
called
or the
it
Sega Saturn.
PlayStation memory cards.
Oh, really? I thought the PlayStation 2.
No, I was saying for PlayStation 1 memory cards, it was also called blocks.
It was called blocks in PS1. Interesting. I wonder why they changed that. Actually, no.
Because-
PS2 just went with raw kilobytes and megabytes
Yeah.
and stuff.
And
And somehow every single time I would end up with a massive chunk of undeletable corrupted data on every single one of my memory cards. I do remember that as well. It was like, what is going on here? There's just this chunk of stuff that says corrupted and I can't delete it.
yeah.
No, that also reminds me of the time when I used to like draw up plans for Revolt card tracks, and then I would like actually build them in the game and then share them to friends by taking my memory card and putting it in their Dreamcast, and then we would race together.
That's
Do you
fun.
all remember? Do you all remember that game like Revolt on the Dreamcast?
I'm trying to remember it. Like, I'm drawing a blank.
It is basically a combat racing game, kind of like Mario Kart, but with RC cars.
Hmm.
Yep. And one of the great things about it is that it gives you like scenarios like you're on a ship, on a cruise ship, on a supermarket, or in the suburban neighborhood.
Hmm.
And also, there's also a toy store scene.
I apologize. I totally zoned out for like half a minute because like I was like before you started explaining, like when you were originally talking about the game, I was zoned out because I just got this Hong Kong made tablet,
Hmm.
and honestly, it's pretty cool. It's from a company called JXD,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of super gay for it right now.
That's
Does it
gay.
run on
Oh, you're
Android?
already gay.
Oh hell yeah!
What version?
4.4.4.
Oh, nice.
So it's pretty good.
So it's pretty much just an Android tablet.
But
Does
it
come with a
has
stylus?
no. It has joysticks, a D-pad, shoulder buttons, and 4 other buttons on the side.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's like a gaming tablet from JXD.
Oh man,
Wow.
I just looked it up. That's pretty snazzy looking.
It's an S7800B.
Hmm.
Is the one I got. And that's supposed
How
to be like
much
the
does
best
it
one.
cost?
150.
What is it called again? JXD?
JXD. Here, I'll just type it. It's a weird serial number.
They've
So
made
it's-
multiple models too.
Yeah, this is the best one from what I've heard is the 7800B. There it is. And it's actually not bad. It works really well for emulation. It has a few weird things about it that are very, very made in a weird place. Like, forum is misspelled on the Service Forum app.
Mhm.
I think it's actually hilarious. It's Service Froum. SOFROUM. Service Froum. So I thought that was hilarious. It was also stuck in Hong Kong time for the first day I got it. So it
So
thought
I
I was in Hong
actually-
Kong.
I actually used to. I have the Open Pandora thing, although I haven't used it in forever. But I'm very happy that you no longer have to go to these bizarre console makers in order to get things that are third-party handhelds, basically. Because the limitation with the Open Pandora was always that the OS that it ran. I mean, sure, it was open source and anyone could compile it.
Wait, it can actually play PSP games?
Oh, hell yeah.
What the
Not
fuck?
games, but ISOs.
Oh.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, the OS was only ever really used on the Open Pandora. So if you wanted to play something on it, it had to be specifically ported to it. With these new Android ones, it's actually kind of interesting. I might have to look into these, and it's considerably cheaper than the Open Pandora was as well.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Open Pandora was cool and all, but
Wait
honestly,
a second.
it felt like it was kind of overpriced for what you were getting.
Let's see. Micro SD card reader capable of supporting cards SDHD up to 32 gigabytes. That's kind of a ripoff, though.
No,
It'll
it's,
be nice
well,
to-
actually, it tells you 32, but I'm pretty sure it's 64.
Oh, so you can
They
actually
released this when there was
64?
only 32 of the micro USBs, so it probably supports 64 by now.
Mhm.
It's like the same size. What's the fucking difference?
Nova 3.
And the actual settings menu says 64 too.
Let's see. And it is considered as a smart console.
Yep.
Holy shit! It's only $154.98.
Let's see if I can do this media device.
I didn't
I'm
hear what
trying to
you
get
said.
this thing to work.
Huh.
I'm trying to get it so I can transfer things to it.
I'm just looking through journals on.
So the most
Sorry.
important question is, does it play Doom?
Yes.
My iPod played Doom.
Yeah, my iPod also plays Doom.
You know, I bet my phone plays Doom as well, and so does my tablet probably.
My toaster
Anyway.
plays Doom.
I got to the
Anyway.
point where I was on the level of Doom 2 called Tricks and Traps, and there's an area of that where you have to run across a series of platforms that fall down as you cross them. And the controls on the iPod were too bad. I couldn't get past that, but I did manage to beat everything up to that. So
I guess you can always just turn on the invincibility cheat.
yeah. Well, the issue was that if you fell into the pit,
died?
you couldn't actually get to the exit. So you could be invincible and just be stuck in the pit.
Oh.
So
Well, anyway, talking about things earlier, I was actually looking through journals of furry websites, people I watch, and one artist is going, so, why is it that everyone seems to say that Metal Gear Solid 5 is sexist?
What? Sorry?
why are people saying that Metal Gear Solid 5 is sexist?
Because they're idiots.
Wait a second. Are furries actually saying this?
No, it's people in general.
The furry is asking why other people are saying this.
Oh, okay. Thank
Because
God.
people are
He's like-
idiots. The end.
He's like, I thought I
They're
typed it
actually,
down.
Well, knowing SGWs, right, it probably has something to do with quiet.
no, yeah, what it is they're trying to apply gaze theory to how quiet is treated within the cutscenes.
Mhm.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, the furry artist is going, so, read stories on various game sites such as Polygon, Metal Gear Solid 5, and he also starts going off on World of Warcraft and how first 3 expansions, female characters kind of had some semi-skippy armor models and others did not. And he's wondering how come all these games are now covering up. They're not showing things off. they're not showing off those sexy pixels.
It's
It's a
I'm-
double standard.
Yeah.
yeah. This is the reason why I like to be able to criticize people like a certain game journalist who keeps going on about how characters are too busty, like in Dragon's Crown and things like that. That was his most famous incident.
Are you talking about Jason Schrödinger?
Yeah. He's actually blocked me on Twitter, by the way.
He blocked me too.
But
Well, to be fair, right, the breasts of the magician girl in that game, right, was kind of ridiculous, but it is kind of offset by the fact that it is animated in a very, very cartoonish way that you can't help but
Yeah, it was all part of the art style.
Yeah,
here's the
Everything
thing: is
in that game was over-sexualized. Everything.
I often say that I'm very much in favor of free speech, right? Here's where the issue comes in: is I'm fine with him saying these critiques. The issue is that when I critique his critiques, that gets shut down, and I don't think that that's right.
Yeah, it's
his
not
critiques
right.
are
Well-
really dumb.
But as we all know, you don't make the big butts like the game journalists, QQ. So your critique doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't really think that they make that big bucks either.
No.
But they have some bizarre level of sway that I don't understand. Then
Would you
again,
say that-
I mean,
would you say that the art style of Dragon's Crown 2 is kind of taking to Franz Kafka-esque levels of pinup?
I don't feel like it's that bad. I mean, I feel like it's obviously meant to be over the top. I mean, every character in the game is drawn with very extreme features.
Yeah, like the Amazon is just like, holy shit,
She's
that's
this
so
giant
there's, like,
muscle
muscles
woman,
everywhere.
like yeah. And then the what was it? The everyone
The
except
warrior.
I think the male mage had pretty over the top features. The male wizard, yeah, was the only one who did not have over the top features. That was it. Everyone else had them.
Yeah.
All the men.
No,
Well,
all
that's
how about-
because the over-the-top feature is between his legs, if you know
Okay.
what I mean.
No,
How
baby.
about the human warrior, the male human warrior, and the fact
Yeah.
that he's this giant, hulking guy with this tiny little head.
Yeah,
He has this little tiny head.
that's how you had. That's how you
yeah,
had.
well, his is he the one with biceps that are literally larger than his head?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the art style. Is people have certain assets that are considered to be desirable, which are proportioned so that they're larger than their heads, and that is universal.
And it is kind of a trope that magician girls are portrayed as extremely busty.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, why are you specifically pointing out that game?
Yeah, like pretty much every mage in every RPG can be said to be the stereotype of busty, sultry ladies.
Hmm.
And then you have the dwarf.
Like even in
Yeah.
Breath of Fire 1,
His
right?
entire
Like,
body
we
was
can
not-
go very, very far back to Breath of Fire 1, right? And the mage character, Blue, is pretty much like a serpent lady, like a body of a human, the top half of a human, and the bottom half of a snake, right? And she is pretty well stacked also.
Yeah.
And you
And then
have
there's
the
Nina.
dwarf.
And then there's
Dwarf
Nina
that's just-
from Breath of Fire 2.
Let's not forget about the dwarf, though, in
Mhm.
his nothing but muscle comparison for the Amazon in his free-flowing beard all over his face, all over his
You know, I
body.
have a theory that that breasts are pretty much natural batteries for magical energy.
Yes. I'm surprised that this hasn't actually been made into canon in some things.
Uh-huh.
'Cause it
So
makes
like
sense.
the more better you are at magic, the bigger breast you have if you're a female.
Now the question is,
Actually, there is a little mention about that for the sorceress and her breasts for
Mhm.
Dragon's Crown.
Oh god, you know what? I just thought of something. Flea the Magician from Chrono Trigger.
What about Flea?
That's Flea. Have you played Chrono Trigger before?
Yes.
I have.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
trying to
just meant-
remember. I just remember
Yeah.
Sprite, nothing else.
Well, Flea the Magician is essentially a. It's hard to describe it, but Flea the Magician, right, is very.
Flea
It
the
looks.
Magician's
It
a
looks
trap.
very much like a beautiful woman, right? But when you confront Flea, right, they say that they're very much a man, but man, woman doesn't matter. Power is always beautiful, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder if it's just related genetics, like if having a large bust makes you good at magic, or if your bust size will actually increase as your skill level does.
Yeah. If it's a latter, right, it actually kind of would give rise to the idea of trap mages.
Huh. Yeah. That's actually interesting.
Uh-huh.
I'll have to remember that if I ever do any world building.
And then when you do that, you're gonna be accused of being sexist.
Yeah, somehow.
But then again, the
You know-
people who do that would find sexism
Random
pretty
question. Random question. Wouldn't Flea be considered transgender then?
It's hard to say. You'll have to. I don't know. You'll have to pretty much ask like the creator of the series to about the status of Flea's gender. Because like if you go just by the game, right, Flea very much identifies as a male.
Yep.
Like Flea actually objects to being called a woman
Interesting.
or used. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna have to drop out here shortly, guys.
Actually,
Alright.
we probably need
Yeah,
to.
we've been doing
Thank
this
you
for a
for coming
while.
on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and thanks for joining us,
Alto.
Chris.
Alto.
Alto?
I
Or
I
Chris.
didn't know if you wanted to go by which name you wanted to go by.
Alto is probably better.
Alright. Thanks for joining us,
Alto.
Alto.
No problem. You
Indeed.
magical
Thank you.
creature.
You have a natural inclination for this whole podcasting business, it seems.
Well,
know.
thank
I
you.
know. I knew that picking him for this podcast would be a great idea.
Mhm.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's been fun.
Yep, thank you.
You make me
And
proud,
that-
Alto.
And that'll be it for tonight, everyone. Thank you all for
That'll
joining
be
us.
it.
Yep, that's it.
All right, later, guys.
Bye bye. We'll see you next week.
Bye.